can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as your sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waste. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waste.
Hello and welcome to the 106th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined this evening by two wonderful co-hosts and my good buddy Sarah. What's up, Sarah?
Hey.
And the announcement of the triumphant, amazing, stupendous, incredible return of Leon. Welcome to the
Ad Victorium.
Oh man, it's been an adventure trying to get you onto the show. You were one of my favorite people to have on the show 100 years ago when we started, and then for some reason we could never get Hangouts to work on any of your devices. What the fuck was up?
Google hates me.
Google hates Leon.
Yeah, I bought stock in Amazon, and now look what happens.
Yeah, they're tracking you, man. You can't fuck around with Amazon because Google will be vindictive about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, awesome, Leon. I'm so glad to have you back on the show. We were going to have you on, what was it, last week? Because we were trying to get people to do some of their favorite quests. Was there a quest that you specifically liked last episode that we talked about? I can't remember exactly which one you submitted.
Here There Be Monsters. I submitted a couple. Here There Be Monsters as well.
Nice. Well, so let's just go ahead and start off the top with that. I know you submitted some normal feedback. Was there anything not in your feedback that you submitted that we'll listen to later in the show that you have just off the top of your head about Here There Be Monsters that no one mentioned in the show last week? Oops, did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out for just a second. That's okay. I went in with Paladin Dance as my companion, and I'd never actually done that before. And it was pretty funny because the first thing he says when you walk in is, "Don't touch anything." And it's like, I can't remember the next phrase he says. It's either we could sink this place or we could put a lot of water in here or something. It was just funny because that was the first time I ever heard him say that.
That's really cool. So was he going to use it vindictively? Like be like, oh, we can steal the nuclear missile heads out of here and do something horrible, or what? Because I imagine the Brotherhood being like, oh, we need to scrap the good tech out of here before we blow this thing up or something. You know what I mean?
No, he didn't really react any specific way other than that one comment right as you walk into the sub.
Nice. Cool. Well, you have some feedback that we'll be getting into a little bit later in the show. We've also got tons of great feedback to get into from other listeners. Rebecca, we've got Steve, we've got Jen Chin, Josh, and Mark with a W, don't even ask. Sarah, did you have a chance to play any Fallout this week?
Just a little tiny bit, enough to get Mr. Goodfield's kill.
Nice.
Get killed at Saugus Ironworks over and over again.
You got killed at Saugus over and over again?
Oh, yes.
Trying to get the there's some nuclear part or something you have to get.
It was like a coil or something.
Yeah, down there. Yeah, that's a pain in the neck. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Those dudes over at Saugus.
Yeah.
You need flamer fuel? That's where you go.
That's where you go.
Yeah. All right, so I don't have. I need to find a functioning pen. Every pen on my desk, I'm sitting here grabbing pens and writing, and nothing. Oh, there's go. Okay, because we just got a fresh email. I saw one come through as I'm like getting ready here, prepping for the show. I decided, I might as well check in one last time here, see the email, and something did come through. So, Sarah Saylor, I've been bugging you.
This is Sarah with feedback for the.
I've been bugging you to send in feedback, so I thank you for caving to the pressure and actually hopping on and doing this project. That's so awesome. And I just saw it come in, so we'll just go ahead and start right off here with Sarah Saylor. So thanks so much for sending stuff in, Sarah. Excited to hear what you got.
This is Sarah with feedback for the character Josiah. This is my first voice recording. You guys don't have to hold my feet to the fire like you all threatened before, you know.
Threatened.
I said I would do it, so here I am, even though I hate the sound of my own voice. Pretty bad, isn't it? I started off with a special 2 strength, 3 perception, 4 endurance, 5 charisma, 9 intelligence, 3 agility, and 3 luck. I've made it up to still 2 in strength, 3 in perception, 6 in endurance, still 5 in charisma, still 9 in intelligence, 5 in agility, and 4 in luck. I am level 18, so like I said, still playing catch up a little bit. I haven't got to play the past couple of weeks as much as I would like to because of boring, stupid adult stuff, like, you know, trying to buy a house. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I started with perks: Aqua Girl, Rifleman, Rad Resistant, Animal Friend, Party Girl, Action Girl, and Mysterious Stranger. I've picked all of those up, and let's see, I've leveled Rifleman to 3, Rad Resistant to 2, and Animal Friend to 2, but I haven't picked up Party Girl because I don't have my charisma high enough yet. I've also picked up Medic, Chem Resistant, and Science. Chem Resistance was kind of an accident because, you know, playing after work, was really tired, and was thinking that was one of the perks that I was supposed to get. It was Rad Resistant, not Chem Resistant. But anyway, I picked McCready up in Good Neighbor. He is my romance. And we are getting ready to take out the Gunners, which is, I think, the first level of his, you know, personal quest. I haven't recruited Hancock yet. I'll probably pick him up pretty soon. I did meet up with a railroad, which was very, very interesting story. I was like pretty early on in the game, and I was trying to get around that one building. I can't think of what the name of it is, but it's the one with all the super mutants and mutant hounds. And my son, he's 4, he likes to help me play games, and by help I mean move me around and make me super dizzy. And, you know, I mean, he's really awesome. And it's really great whenever, you know, you've got a 4-year-old helping you move around buildings, and you're trying to sneak and everything. And then you hear, like, I swear, like 3 super mutant suiciders. And my son looked up at me and he goes, "Mommy, look, your head just exploded." And I'm like, "Yeah, great, son. It's awesome." Anyway, little anecdote there. So I did finally make it around all the suiciders, and yeah, made it to the church, hooked up with the railroad. I haven't started tradecraft yet because it's part of our round table, so I was kind of holding off a little bit. So Deacon is out waiting for me, you know, on the side of the road somewhere, God knows where. My settlement is Bunker Hill, and I did traffic jam and prep school, hoping to get control of that settlement. Hasn't happened yet. And as I had said before in my email that I sent in, I've not actually finished the main quest. And I made it very, very, very far into it on my very first playthrough. And what happened was I made it to the Institute, and you find out, you know, that your son is, you know, a sociopath and leading the Institute. And so I imagine that character, she's still curled up in the fetal position in Sean's nursery in Sanctuary Hills, drinking herself into oblivion. That's kind of where that one went, and I wasn't emotionally prepared to make, you know, that really hard choice. So my plan is to do that with this playthrough and finally finish it up. So as far as the main quest goes, I have made it to Dangerous Minds, and in the main quest, finished it up, getting ready to go to the Glowing Sea and find Virgil. As far as the roundtable quests go, I did Confidence Man. It's one of my favorite quests. I think Travis is adorable, and you know, it, like I said, it's one of my favorite quests to do. And then for the roundtable this week, I haven't got to play as much as I would like to. Like I said, I did meet up with, Professor Goodfills. I honestly think that he's a little bit of a douchebag because, you try to take him out of the settlement, you're trying to help him, and what happens? He dies. So we barely made it out of Sunshine Tidings, and he he got killed. And I was like, I could reload this, or I could say, have a moment of silence for Professor Goodfills and, send him on to robot heaven. And I did the federal ration stockpile. That one was another interesting one. I died a lot trying to get through it. I thought it was, I've always loved reading all the terminals and all of that. So whenever you find the terminal talking about Red's sister, she's talking about her sister, and you find out from Confidence Man that she's actually dead, and it's just so sad, and you kind of feel bad for her because she thinks her sister's out there and everything. It's just one of those things that makes Bethesda games amazing and why we love them. I've always kind of role played my characters, like I had said before. Josiah, I kind of stuck to what the story's about with her. Where she has an intelligence of 9, she's a little bit of a smarty pants, and so in my role play, she left high school early. She had been offered a position going to school at CIT, but she was young and idealistic, and she couldn't see how being in a laboratory would save the world, and she decided to pursue her law degree. And then she met Nate, and how all of that goes. The reason why she likes McCready so much, because he's adorable, big nerd and everything. But also where he too has lost his wife and has a son out there, they have a lot in common. But anyway, I think that's everything. And yeah. So I am going to go play some more. I haven't finished the other 2 quests. I picked up the one where you get Drinking Buddy. And I'm actually on my way to go see the submarine right now. I've never done that quest, so I'm looking forward to it, and I'll probably let you know how it goes next time. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Bye.
Awesome. Sarah, perfect. Good job. I know it's your first time submitting feedback. I know some people get a little nervous their first time. Knocked it out of the ballpark. Perfect. Great job, Sarah. Awesome. Right off the bat.
You did great.
Any thoughts right off the top? Anybody there? Oh, hey, Kia ora, Steve.
Kia ora, everybody.
What's going on? Who's popping on? Say hi, Steve.
Hey.
Steve's
I
from, New
was
Zealand.
going to throw out to Sarah that, a little chem resistance never hurts.
Look, accidental chem resistance. That's hilarious. Never hurts. That is one of my things, one of my assigned things that I still haven't taken. I'm over level 30. I'm late mid 30s. I don't even know. I need to start investing in my chems. I've just been using them for cash at this point. Oh boy, I've got a story about copper later too, guys. But yeah, so
and favorites and some chems.
Yeah,
just pick a couple and favorite them, and just use those 2 chems.
Daddy-o. I'm gonna pick the ones that are impossible to fucking find. Right on. You guys had any thoughts about Sarah's feedback there?
It was great. Send it in every week.
She was talking about she is holding off on tradecraft, so I guess she wants to hop into the railroad, but we're gonna do that later for the round table. And I was like, oh, we are? So she knows the schedule better than I do. Good job holding off on that quest if we're going into it later, Sarah. She say she never finished the main quest? Or was she saying with this character, or that she never ever with anything has ever finished the main quest?
Sounded like with she's never finished it ever.
Yeah.
That she kind of got up to the meeting the Institute, and then, like she said, her previous character just kind of wasn't willing to make that decision. So.
Yeah, it's tough, especially if you try to go through the Institute. Ugh, it makes me feel icky every time. Just want to walk away from that.
Yeah, my first playthrough, I had to. I was playing a female character, and I had to side with the Institute for that specific reason. It was I couldn't go back on that choice. That was well, that made my decision for me.
That means we have a couple different people playing along this season who've never finished the main quest. I assume you guys are spoiled, right? They have to know how the game ends by now, right? There's no way people aren't spoiled by the big twist. The twist isn't even at the end. You know what I mean? It starts like Act 2. I guess Act 3. You know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
You know, the
the big twist. Yeah, it like
the twist, the M. Night Shyamalan style twist that happens when you get to the Institute.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. And you know what? Like at the very end, I even had a hard time, like, I don't know, making that decision. You know?
Talk me through that.
Making the decision?
Yeah.
Are we spoiling people? That's the question.
How old is the game? Okay. I think we dropped our spoiler alert back in 2016. Right?
How's that?
We were spoiler free for a little while.
Okay, so here I go. Nobody hate me, but at
close
the
your
end,
ears. La 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 la
close
la.
your ears.
Anybody who doesn't
Okay.
know spoilers.
So I went through as the railroad, right? And you have to go in and you got to, like, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Do.
Yeah, when you're the railroad, you play as like a double agent for the Institute for basically half the game. It's weird.
Ed, what do I do? You got to talk to him and stuff.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, I just ended up shooting him in the head.
Oh, there you go.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
You were cutting out a little bit, Sarah. So you're like cut out pretty much at anything that could have been a secret, and then you're just like, and then I shot him in the head.
That is perfect.
Yes.
We're just gonna leave it like that.
Yeah. So she didn't actually reveal anything, so that worked really well. And I just shot him in the head.
In this game, at any point that you decide to progress the main story, there are choices, and whichever choice you make, there are things that you're going to have to do to people that you've met in the game in order to progress with the particular choice that you've made. So there's rough decisions to be made along the way.
Could you find a more convoluted way to say that, Steve?
I could try.
Sarah, no, Sarah's in the chat. Sarah, do you know the twist? Do you know the ending? Are you spoiled on the game? Answer me when the chat catches up in like 15 seconds or whatever. All right, guys, let's go ahead and she thought Professor Goodfields was a douchebag for dying. Yeah, I hate when people die.
It's so rude.
So rude of them. Those douchebags for dying. Hilarious. Confidence Man is her favorite quest because Travis will follow you forever, right? That's why, right? Come on. Oh, speaking of, next week we get to get Billy, another one of our favorite quest followers. Everybody, get ready for Billy. Super excited. All right, Sarah, thanks so much for the feedback. Let's keep moving right along with the show here. Let me get some more feedback pulled up. Why don't we go ahead and check in with Rebecca? Rebecca, our good friend, appears over on the what's the Skyrim stories called, Steve? The podcast again? Blanking all of a sudden.
A Skyrim addict?
No, the books.
Oh gosh,
Skyrim Book Club, right?
library.
Oh, come on, you guys. Bunch of amateurs over
What are
here.
you talking? Wasn't she on that? She's on that podcast, right?
Yeah, the one that Steve does. The other Steve.
Oh. Isn't it just Skyrim Book Club?
Skyrim Book Club. There you go. I forgot the
I
word
got you,
club.
Steve.
I forgot the word club.
You remember that, Steve. I had your back.
106. Rebecca. No, I almost played you from last week, Rebecca. Does everyone want to hear Rebecca's from last week again before we get into hers from this week? I was joking. I could hear it. Here you go, Rebecca.
Hello everyone, this is Rebecca with an update on Flash. While out wandering with Piper, they came across a place called the Federal Ration Stockpile. Unfortunately, at the same time, a vertibird full of Brotherhood of Steel also came across the Federal Ration Stockpile, so she and Piper had to fight them and the raiders that were guarding the building. Once they were inside, Flash used her trusty Molotov cocktails to clear the first corridor. They reached a master terminal, which she was unable to hack, so they went down a tunnel leading off from the corridor. Following these tunnels, they eventually came across a woman called Red Tourette. They fought and killed her, and found a load of letters on a table and notes on a terminal that suggested Red Tourette's sister Lily had been kidnapped and taken to Beantown Brewery. Flash didn't remember seeing any females there. From the entries on the terminal, it looked like Red Tourette and her friends had been out to Beantown Brewery after Flash had been there, because it said that Tower Tom and his men were dead. When they emerged back out of the Federal Ration Stockpile, they found an abandoned settlement called Sunshine Tidings Co-op. There was a Mr. Handy robot called Professor Goodfields who looked like he was in need of repair. Using a terminal, Flash selected the option for him to return for maintenance. Off he went, so she followed him to see where he would go. He travelled up past Corvega, over the bridge and past Diamond City, past Milton General Hospital and Fallon's department store, and past Big John's Salvage. They eventually reached a place called Hester's Consumer Robotics, and Professor Goodfields went inside. Flash followed him and was immediately attacked by robots. When she'd fought them off,
Oh my
she
God,
realised
she
that
made
anyone who may have been able to carry out the repairs on Professor Goodfields had died during the war, unless those robots she'd just killed could have done it. She couldn't find a terminal to operate any machinery, so she went to tell Goodfields to just follow her back, but he wouldn't respond. She realised with a sinking feeling that she'd doomed him to spend the rest of his days in this awful bleak building. Side note, Professor Goodfields was actually killed twice during the journey, but I saved and reloaded each time and ran ahead to kill the attackers before they got him. Next, Flash decided to carry out a job she'd agreed to do while she was in Good Neighbour visiting Dr. Armari, finding and bringing back a brewing machine for Rufus in the Hotel Rexford. While chasing a raider outside the Shamrock Tap House where the brewing machine was located, Flash heard a young child talking. She followed the voice and found a young lad called Donny standing on a pier. He said, with a really irritating upward inflection at the end of his sentences, that he'd seen a sea monster. Flash went to investigate and found a submarine. A Chinese ghoul, the captain, asked her to help him fix the submarine so that he could return to China. He said that he needed a dampening coil, which could be found in Saugus Ironworks. First, though, the brewing machine. She went to Shamrock Tap House, telling Donny on the way that she'd found the sea monster and it had swallowed her, so she'd cut its heart out. She Molotov cocktailed her way through Shamrock Tap House, killing all of the raiders inside, including one called Gaff. She found a dead man perched against a wall, and it looked like someone had been practicing their knife-throwing skills on him. Whenever Flash sees an innocent person who's been killed and left in such an undignified manner, she moves them out of respect. So she lifted this man off this perch and gently laid him on the floor. Down in the basement, they were attacked by mole rats, but they found the drinking buddy and activated him. Then they very slowly escorted him back to the Hotel Rexford. They paid for a room and went upstairs to rest, but were confronted by a ghoul. It was the Vault-Tec rep, and he recognised Flash, even though for him over 200 years have passed, and she's had her hair cut short and dyed blue. He was really bitter and angry at first, but eventually broke down and confessed to being very lonely. Flash suggested he go back to Sanctuary Hills and she promised to come and visit him. The next day, Flash realized that Kate had started making a strange clicking noise. Had she been replaced by a synth during the night? Was she carrying a time bomb? Or had my game glitched? Whatever it was annoying, so Flash sent her back to Ten Pines Bluff and was joined instead by Piper. At Saugus Ironworks, they were attacked by raiders carrying flamethrowers and throwing Molotov cocktails. Flash gave as good as she got, and inside they made their way through to a blast furnace where there was a standoff between a raider in power armor called Slag and a young man called Jake. Flash attacked Slag and his gang and managed to rescue a hostage. She also grabbed the dampening coil. Reading through some entries on Slag's terminal, it seems that his raiders were called the Forged, and they were in fact gunners who he had recruited. Bosco was mentioned. It said that he had been eliminated, and so was Jared and his crew at Corvega. Then they went to Finch Farm, and Jake was reunited with his family. Abraham, Jake's father, said that Flash was welcome in their home, so she and Piper rested there for the night before heading back to the submarine. They collected a warhead from inside the submarine as instructed and installed it with the dampening coil to power up the sub. Captain was very grateful and said that if Flash ever needed help, she could use a transponder that he would give her, and he would send a missile to wherever the signal was. He said that it might just save her bacon. As they were leaving, she remembered the USS Constitution and hoped that the submarine wouldn't ever be spotted by Ironsides and his crew, as they would be likely to attack it. Although the submarine did at least have a century's head start. That's all for this time. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
All right, Leon. What was she saying there? She thinks the Constitution's going to attack the submarine?
Well, remember, Ironsides wants to go to the sea and continue the war. So if they ever meet in open water, then, there might be a fight. My money would be on the sub, to be honest.
Yeah, no kidding. Put that on the sub every day.
They still got a couple nukes on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently they don't work. I was playing earlier today, and I tried one of those beacons, and I launched it just to see what would happen again. Nothing happened. He just ignored me.
Is there a range on those?
I was close to the bay, so it should be, even if there is a range, I figure it would have been there. I was just trying to see what it would look like. I was over by Green Tech Genetics, so it wasn't real far away.
I like that Flash has a heart. She always tends to care about all the different groups in the Commonwealth that she runs across. Like she mentioned when on Goodfellas that oh my gosh, what did I do? I've doomed this Professor Goodfellas to living in this room for the rest of his life.
I wouldn't even care. I didn't even think about that.
Hey, at least her professor gets to live. Everybody else's so far has died, right?
I didn't even get him there at all. I was about to take the poll across the room. Who actually got him there successfully?
Nope.
Not me.
Nope.
She said she had to reload a couple times. I wonder if anyone got it on the first try. I think Carrie did, but she had to save scum a couple times and reload and stuff like that too. I think I don't know if anyone has checked in and gotten it on the first try. And if you did, you're just a bragger. So don't even tell me. I don't want to hear about it. All right, Rebecca.
I mean, to be fair, he kind of is a douchebag because he just goes off and fights people without even letting you know where he's going. I had to chase him down a couple times. And then he just disappeared and he was on top of a building fighting a freaking super mutant.
Yeah. And he runs up there and you're like, hey, buddy, come on back.
Yeah.
He runs way out ahead and he's really fast too. He's
super fast. Sometimes he is frustratingly slow and then other times he's super fast. And then he goes and then he turns one direction and then he's like, oh shit, never mind. And turns around and goes the other way. Did you guys notice that?
I had to reload at least once not because he died, but just because I lost him. Just because I turned and looked at something for a second and he was
gone.
Yeah.
Sarah just said in the chat he's kind of like a toddler. He totally is.
Oh God, yeah! Don't take your eyes off of Professor Goodfeels. You need one of those little backpacks with a rope on it with a leash,
There you go.
koala bear leash for Professor Goodfeels. Rebecca, I always love hearing your feedback. It's really good. The Brotherhood of Steel showed up at the Federal Rations place. Does that mean that they were fighting the Raiders off for you? Like, did you get to duck aside and just let them do the work?
Oh, it's so nice when that happens.
Pretty sweet. She took the transponders. Anybody used those? Anybody successfully deployed the transponder things yet?
I tried it today, like I said earlier, but it wasn't successful.
I don't know what it's supposed to do. I tried. I only have 3 of them, so I don't want to waste them. I think I've tried twice, and I didn't really get anything. Can you go back? I forget. Did we discuss that last week? Can you go back and get more from the captain? Well, he saw
Ray
you.
said no.
Ray said no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ray always looks into that sort of stuff. The Raider yeah, she mentioned a couple different times how the Raider. I like how all the Raider computers are connected. Like, if you look at Corvega, it'll mention stuff about if you've like beat Raiders at some other locations and all that. I really like how that's all connected. And the Red Tourette and his sister, that whole drama told through terminals. It's one of those good stories. It's one of the classic ones. So I'm glad Pat suggested that location, because there's a couple of cool aspects about the game, as you know, the terminals that will reflect what you've done. That's pretty cool. Anybody rescue Travis and hear him mention either the USS Constitution or the submarine yet? I always like hearing Travis talk about those things.
Yeah, I've heard both. He's talked about the Constitution going to the next building, and then he's also talked about there being a sub in the bay at one point.
Oh, nice. Does the sub stick around forever? I forget. We probably talked about that last week too. Does it shove off?
I think it stays in the harbor as long as you play the game. I don't think it ever goes away, but I'm not 100% on that.
Well, Leon, your feedback is up next, brother. Is there anything you want to say before, as an introduction, before we hop into it?
Some of it will be repeated, like the thing what Paladin Dance says that I talked about earlier. That's in the feedback. And then I can't remember the rest because I've slept since then.
Right on, Leon. Here we go, brother.
G'day, this is Leon from Texas, recording my feedback for the Fallout Feed Best Quests Roundtable, episode 4 feedback. For the quest Federal Ration Stockpile, Professor Goodfeels, Here There Be Monsters, and Trouble Brewing. So overall, let's see. Professor Goodfeels, my professor died. Andrew talked about the King Rat character. Same thing happened to me. Professor Goodbill started walking by. That guy stood up, and all of a sudden, some irradiated glowing rats jumped him, and the King Rat started shooting him with a Gatling laser. So the poor professor died, laying a crumpled little heap. Let's see. For Federal Ration Stockpile, that one was pretty cool. It's been a while since I've been there, and we already went through Beantown Brewery, so we had gotten to read about Red's sister being captured and then accidentally killed. If I remember correctly, wasn't she thrown into a vat of beer? I might be wrong there, but it was interesting. I'm journeying around with one of the mod followers, Heather Cassidy, and it's interesting because when you kill Red, she's like, "Oh my God, you killed Red," or whatever her last name is. So that was kind of cool that the mod creator actually added that line in there for specific NPCs. That was actually, I think, with the exception of Kellogg, I think maybe the first time there's been a special line for an NPC. So that was kind of cool. It is kind of sad in a way that you know that Lucy's dead. And Lucy's her sister name, I think. But it's real interesting that since I'd went to the brewery first, you got to read kind of Red's response or kind of her thoughts about it. And like, so she thinks that the guy at Beantown Brewery, the leader there, had actually moved Lucy and hidden her. And so she's like, we'll find you, Lucy. So that's kind of cool because Lucy's actually dead. For Trouble Brewing, that was an interesting quest because I think this may be the first time. I think I might have done it before, but if I do, I don't remember. But this may be the first time I've actually sent Drinking Buddy back to the Hotel Rexford. Usually I keep him because ice cold beer cool for my character. And I can also usually I don't even do the beer. Usually what I do is I take all my Nuka-Cola and store it in there in Drinking Buddy to make ice cold Nuka-Cola and Nuka-Cola Quantum and Nuka Cherry. The only downside with that is when they put Nuka World in, that you can't use the drink mixes with the ice cold stuff, which to me is kind of a big oversight. You'd think they would have realized, hey, we should have an option for ice cold also. It should take you one or the other. But que sera. That was fun, but oh my gosh, escorting Drinking Buddy back to Good Neighbor was a major pain in the rear end. He is so slow. I just wanted, luckily I just whipped out my 50 cal sniper rifle, and I have the targeting. I have a mod that lets me put the targeting sensors you can normally only have with your power armor on like eyewear, so it highlights living characters. You can also, I think is it orange Mentats or berry Mentats? One of them can also do it. So I could have done it that way, but anyways, I just put it on my goggles. And so I'm just sitting there, and he's walking forward. I'll run up behind him, sniper something in front of him, and stop, and just kind of keep him track, and then drop my weapon, run up behind him. It's just so slow, takes forever. And then Here There Be Monsters. This is one of the quests that I know I really like. It's fun. I like it. It's a neat idea. I'm hoping that it shows that there is an interest in Bethesda to maybe one day show kind of what happened to the rest of the world in the Fallout universe. Who knows? Maybe we'll meet that goal again, and if we ever go to China or something like that. So, or maybe even have the option. But it's interesting, and so I really love this quest. But I think this may be the first time, might be the second time that I've ever gone in with Paladin Dance as my companion. And it's funny because I was listening to him, and I have a couple of mods that add some conversation points. So I'm not sure it could be part of that, but I think it's just a standard conversation. But the minute you walk in, he's like, "Don't touch anything, or we'll how's he phrase it? Or we sink, or we'll flood it, or we'll flood this place, or we'll fill it with water," something like that. But it's just the voice actor is real funny. He's like, "Don't touch anything." And I'm like, okay, I got you. So I know on the feed, the Yod asked if anybody had actually considered putting the nuclear bomb in first before the dampening rods. I almost did it just to see what would happen, but I didn't want to do a reload or anything. So that was pretty interesting. I still like that Dan said that was hilarious. And he's also got a phrase. I've probably heard it before, but I journey with a lot of the different companions at different times. But he's like, when you're walking around with this much metal, you tend to avoid water or something like that. That one, he said that when I went to kill the first mate, the gold first mate. So that was kind of fun. So one thing though, I've got, like I said, I got about like 20 something mods running on my Xbox. I'm starting to run into some glitches. And it seems like every 20 to 30 minutes, I'm getting a hard crash, especially when I go back to my settlements. And I'm not for sure exactly what's wrong with that. I'm thinking it has something to do with a conflict with the Creation Club versus some of the mods I got, because the horse armor and the Hellfire armor won't actually say what they are. It just says lookup failed. So there's obviously a Creation Club conflict there. I've got a couple of armor mods. One that it's like the armor and keywords one, and then the other one that is lets me move legendaries around, so that or create legendaries and stuff, so that way I can add a legendary to an item if I want. So I'm not for sure if it's one of those two or not. I actually had a radio mod going, and I went ahead and just in case it was that one because I noticed it seemed like that that it might be part of it. I went ahead and risked deleting it, and because it didn't seem like it should be creating anything, so I was like, well, I'm gonna try to play without it, and it seems to be working now without it, but I'm still getting the crashes. So obviously it wasn't the problem. So if I keep getting a bunch of crashes and it gets worse, I may not be able to continue. I don't know. I'm gonna keep going as long as I can.
Uh-oh.
So, anyways, I will hopefully see y'all in the wasteland.
Hopefully see you in the wasteland. You saying your character's gonna fucking die. Your mods. Another character killed by mods. All you stupid people out there with your PC super race bullshit saying, oh, we got a mass superior race to our PC mods and everything. And I know he's on Xbox, but that's beside the point, everyone. Gee whiz, you're gonna kill your character, Leon. What are you doing, brother?
Well, I'm trying not to kill him. I'm keeping playing. So far, it just seems like every time I go back to Sanctuary, if I've been doing anything else, it wants to crash. So what I've started doing and seems to be working is save the game right before I go to Sanctuary. Only fast travel there. If I have to go to Sanctuary, I save it, go to Sanctuary, let it crash, restart, and then start again, go to Sanctuary, and it seems to work fine. So, I mean, it does that with other settlements too, but Sanctuary seems to be the big cause. So, also, none of my water purifiers are working in Sanctuary, but they're working in other settlements. So, I don't know. But as long as it keeps working, I'm going to keep playing it. I played it yesterday and today, and as long as I take that into account and just make sure to do a quick save or a save every 20, 25 minutes, it seems to be okay. I can handle it. It's just if it gets worse, who knows?
I don't know. I guarantee you the way that you do not solve your issue is by removing mods. That's never.
Well, the reason why I risked that one is it was just a radio mod. It added some extra songs, but it was also, I was wondering if that was the mod. I have the Tunnel Snake Creation Club, and to start that quest, you're supposed to listen in on a radio signal, and I can't get that radio signal to show up. It won't let me listen to it. So I was wondering if my radio mod was messing with that too. So I went ahead and I saved everything beforehand, deleted that mod, tried to get it to work again, and it's working fine without that mod, but I still can't do the Tunnel Snakes DLC either. So I'm like,
weird.
No Tunnel Snake jackets for me this time.
I think that I've seen mention of your lookup failed issue on the. I think that has something to do with the keyword items for armor naming and stuff like that.
I was going to throw out that I think it's from Def UI, and it's your Def UI translations file.
Because I've definitely seen that somewhere in some sort of error message, and I think that's the only mod that I've ever run that you mentioned. But I don't know.
That's a mod I'm not willing to mess with because I've tinkered with so many of the different armors and stuff that for this character, I'll just live with it. Next character, I'm probably going to go in and I'm going to cut back the mods to 5 and just go from there. And I'll be honest, the one I'm definitely keeping, and I mentioned it in the feedback, the Heather Cassidy mod, she's great. That companion, I think it's the same person that did Willow for New Vegas, and that person did an amazing job. It's completely voice acted. She's got a great story, very interesting character. She's kind of like a mix between a regular companion and a settler that wanders around with you. So if you give her one ammo, then you don't have to reload her. So she's currently running around with the alien blaster pistol with one bullet, but she keeps firing everything. So she's using it.
And there's some other interesting stuff with her too, like she's a vendor.
Yeah, she's a vendor. I don't use her much for that, but she's also a romance option, and her story is really cool. It's actually because of her story and some of the other stuff that is going on in the game that I was originally supposed to, with this character, do the Institute, which I've done them all. So because of her and some of her story and the other stuff going on in the game, I'm actually doing Brotherhood of Steel now.
me a favor, toss out the name of that mod again, would you, Lee?
Heather Cassadin.
Heather. How do you spell Cassadin? C-A.
Cassadin, I believe.
The Cassadin mod. I'm gonna try to put that link in.
And I'm pretty sure it's on computer too, obviously, but it's on Xbox, which is what I play on, and I'm mainly using the mods there. So I'm really digging that one. She's got her own bunker that you eventually get access to, and just she's a really cool character. And she's actually they actually worked. Her voice actor has certain lines, like she'll mention something, and if you have another companion with you, then that companion, they'll use their voice files to respond. Like at one point, she talks to Paladin Dance, and she's like, "I'm really in the mood for some power noodles. What about you?" And Paladin Dance is like, "Affirmative," or something like that. And just little things like that.
Nice. They sort of like backwards constructed the dialogue for the character so that it fit into pre-existing dialogue for the other people. That's cool.
Yeah. And then, like I said, she's got some specific NPCs that when you run across them, she'll mention them, like Kellogg, Red Tourette, and there was another one that happened. Darn it, it happened today too, and I've completely forgot which one it was. And then, like when we went to the railroad today, she said something about like, "Oh, I guess we're going to find out all their secrets." And just very, very well done mod.
Yes, you mentioned you're having trouble maybe with the Creation Club, and you mentioned 2 sets of power armor, the horse one that I'm familiar with, and then something else I wasn't. What was that?
The Hellfire power armor. It's another one of the power armor mods.
Is that just a coloration, or is that something cool?
No, it's a separate set of armor. I think it's like higher energy resist or something like that.
Does it have a neat look? What is it? An XO1 or anything fun?
Not. It's hard to explain. It's got like little knobs on the head. It's hard to explain.
Is it Enclave armor? I think it's Enclave.
Yeah,
maybe.
but it's got the knobs, so I'm not really sure. I can't remember.
I downloaded some space suit this week.
Oh, that's the Captain Cosmos. I've got that one too.
Yeah, I haven't put it on yet though, but the pictures looked cool. What is that?
That's it's a suit of power armor that was developed for the Captain Cosmos TV show, and so you have to do the little quest involving that, go to find where the TV show is at, and so it comes built in with a jetpack.
Oh, but it's power armor. That's weird. The pictures didn't even. It just looked like a rad suit or something. That's cool.
No, it's a full set of power armor, nice white and kind of spacesuity.
You were also mentioning something highlighting bad guys or living people, NPCs around you. What you said there was a Mentats version in doing it, and then something else. What were you talking about?
It's the I can't remember specifically what it's called, but the power armor, you can put it on your helmet and it highlights living targets. And then I believe it's berry mentats also let you do it if you chew them. It might be orange mentats. It's one of those. Okay. And then I have like I said, I had a mod that allows me to put that specific power armor mod on any piece of eyewear. So I'm like, it's almost like Terminator glasses. I'm wearing my goggles.
Yeah, you're RoboCop walking around, or Iron Man or whatever. That's cool.
Well, right now I'm the Silver Shroud, actually.
Yeah, I need to get into those quests, guys. I was looking at our quests, and I apologize. I was a dickhole for putting I put like 3 of the longest quests in all of the season together in one episode. It's going to be like mammoth feedback. Everyone's going to have like an hour-long feedback next week. We might as well do it in like 2 or 3 parts. Jeez. Apologies on my end.
And Tradecraft is way down there.
Oh, good Lord.
I've been holding out on that one too.
Tradecraft is the only reason the railroad is still alive in my playthrough.
I've killed a bunch of railroad people already, so I hope that I still have access to do that quest. I think I probably will, since I haven't killed like Desdemona or anyone, but I'm hoping. Is she essential until a certain point?
Honestly,
I don't know.
I wonder if I could just go in and kill her. No,
I don't think you can, because, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe you can.
I don't know. Can you do that to any of that? It's probably the same status as like Maxon and
I'm pretty sure you could probably just go in there and start laying waste.
No, you can't.
I think I've shown up before with dance, and well, they don't get along, so that was an automatic, like, he just opened fire on them and they fired back, and that was our interaction.
Really?
But they always throw up like a big black screen, like, you are about to fuck up your relationship with these people. Would you like
Right.
to proceed? At least they do that for you.
This is a question for Ray because I bet Ray has tried to kill her.
Oh, yeah. Ray definitely has. You know he has. Hilarious. All right, Leon, thank you for your feedback, sir.
Yeah, no problem. And just as an aside, if you ever want to have a really fun interaction, take X688 into the railroad headquarters and watch the fireworks.
Oh, I bet you that's fun. Holy cow.
It is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that. He sent Drinking Buddy back, but you can't mix the Nuka World ice cold stuff.
No, the Nuka World recipes require regular Nuka Cola, Nuka Cherry, or whatever, and for whatever reason, ice cold won't work, which is a complete miss on Bethesda's part. I can't believe they didn't think of that.
That is was one of my gripes. I took when Drinking Buddy got to my settlement, I immediately turned him into my refrigerator, so I went to my workbench and I got every bit of drinkable aid out of my workbench and I dropped it all into him. And I was expecting every drinkable item to become ice cold, but I wanted ice cold vodka. I didn't get any ice cold vodka.
Ice cold water?
No, purified water wouldn't get ice cold. I don't think. No, yeah, I totally tried that too. It wouldn't work. It was just like, what was it? It was the beers, all the different beers, right? And then none of the liquor. It just wasn't liquor. None of the liquor would work. No wine. You couldn't make ice cold wine. That's classic. Can I get my red ice cold wine, please? I'm a classy fella, everybody. Steve, your feedback next. Is there anything you would like to say before we get digging in?
Nah, just let it rip.
All right. Thank you for your submission, sir. Let's go ahead and click our heels to Steve Land.
Kia ora, everybody. Steve here in New Zealand with my feedback for Timmy. So, since I was going to go be a raider later, I thought that I would take Preston out and go get his perk. And I was going to be doing some settlement stuff. He loves that. So, I took him along and I had put him in a Slocum Joe's manager's outfit. I'd put the whole Concord gang into Slocum Joe's outfits, but I put him, for taking him out, into a white suit and a white hat from the Mysterious BIG mod. And so we went to Sunshine Tradings and I went into the terminal for Good Feels. And he said, I thought, what if I click on guard mode? Well, without saying, how do you do? Good Feels takes off and headed north saying exterminate over and over. I did hit the send him to repair right after I'd hit guard. So, maybe it kind of mixed it up, but anyway, he went up and then I had to sprint to keep up with him in my power armor. And so I used up at least half of a core keeping up with him. Good thing I had that sprint perk that brings the sprint to 50% less AP. I never would have taken that perk otherwise, but it's coming in handy. So we got out by that wrecked house to the west of Corvega. And there was a dude named Reggie Blatoria there who started firing at me with a Gatling laser, and a shitload of rad roaches came out at me. Goodfield's health is ticking down. I'm all, what the fuck? Because I had just done that run to this place with nothing happening. It had been all quiet. And then all of a sudden, from that point, it's where it's always empty whenever I go by there. It's raining lasery death down at me. And so I got down to probably about 10% health, and I go into VATS, eat some food, take some chems, and fire at this guy with my laser rifle of poisoning. I named it Butters. I named my weapons after South Park characters. So I looked him up in the wiki, and he was there. He spawns at a certain level. He's a homage to the Roach King from Fallout 3. You guys were talking about him last week, and so I've never seen him before. He had a Gauss rifle of plasma rifle infusion a Gauss rifle with plasma infusion on him and a Gatling laser. So somehow Goodfields became hostile to me in the fight, and my follower took him down. So that's how this escort mission went for me. Kind of anticlimactic in the end, really. Started walking back to Sunshine Tidings and went through Walden Pond. I was walking through it and I see this grate and I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. So I went and I checked it out and it was a door, and go inside and there's some raiders in there. There's Tweez and Bear and Walter. And I'm like, these guys have names. They must be somebody cool. Yeah. And so I took them out and, well, they just happened to be guys with names in there. And found a Tales of a Junktown Jerky Vendor magazine and the Big Jim wrench on the shelf. I was like, oh, sweet. It's a unique weapon. It's a big pipe wrench. And I gave it to Preston. And we went back to my settlement. And we're looking at my weapon mods because I remember I had gotten a puncturing and a hooked wrench mod when I was in the FEV lab at the Institute. And I find those every time I go through there. And I always wonder what they're doing there. So if you're melee and don't want to use blacksmith, I don't know why, but you would do that. But then you can put these weapon mods on Big Jim. You can find these good hooked and the other mod there in the FEV lab. So, and last feedback, I talked about using the iBot pods to get cannonballs, and apparently it'll get missiles for a rocket launcher too, like 15 or 20 per hunt. I got 13 and I did it twice. I got 13 each time. So I get other things. If you use it to get mini nukes, it'll only find one or so. The broadsider's cool, but I don't have gun nut, so it's a little lackluster, but it does have panache. I'm doing some Radiant settlement quests for XP and building up affinity with Preston, and County Crossing sent me to Club 360 to clear out some super mutants. I took out the guy on top of the building. And I thought, wait, I'm in power armor. What if I just jump off? So I did, and I found I was on the harbor and right at the pier where some kid told me about a monster in the water. No shit. I'm supposed to be doing this quest for feedback. Awesome. Yeah. All I need to do is swim over to the submarine. Oh shit. I'm in power armor. Fine. I'll ditch the power armor and go do this. So I swam over and completed the quest, and it's pretty fun. I love the submariner hat, and I seem to have lost it though. I don't know where if I put it somewhere. I don't know what happened. So anyway, I swam back, and I ended up telling the kid it was just a submarine. He was a little crushed, but he'll get used to disappointment in the wasteland. Headed over to the Hotel Rexford in Good Neighbor and talked to Fred Allen and Rufus Rubens. Took a quest from both of them. Fred wants me to go to Hallucinogen so he can cook up some crazy chems. And funny story about Fred. And my last playthrough was Sid. He was going to go see Fred a lot, and because he was always looking for comics. So I was running a armor, some clothing mod with Sid that didn't have something right, and every once in a while just one person would be naked. And so with Sid, one of those guys was Fred, and since Sid was always there looking for comics and Fred was one of those guys that might randomly sell comics, yeah, I figured it's pretty Fred like for him to be walking around naked all the time. It suited his character. But we're here to talk about Rufus. He wanted me to go get a beer robot. So went to the tap house, and right across the street from it, there's that little place on the corner right there, Joe Spucky's. That place had some sweet loot, like junk type stuff, and I also looked it up. In Fallout lore, it's a pre-war restaurant specializing in sandwiches. They offered a meatball Spucky and a large tonic for $55, and they also catered for events. So Spucky is an outdated term used predominantly by Italians in South Boston, referring to a submarine sandwich. I looked it up, and it's totally a Boston term for a sandwich, a sub, a grinder, hoagie. Kind of cool they threw that in there. So yeah, Joe Spucky's across the street from the tap house. Went in and cleared out the tap house. Upstairs, they were playing knife with the guy. That's where you put a guy against the wall and you throw knives at him. And you could take those knives in the wall, by the way. And I got Drinking Buddy and sent him to the Hotel Rexford. I know you can send them to your settlement. That's pretty cool. I just didn't want that quest sitting in my log there. So, mm, speaking of settlements, the iBot pods again. I heard Andrew saying that he wanted to put one in a settlement. Well, I thought, what if I put more than one? So I put down 7, and I found out you can actually only seek a particular item one at a time. So with 7 of them, I can seek 7 different items, but not one item 7 times. And also, I learned that it won't find DLC ammo, so you can't look for like harpoons or the 7.62 ammo from Nuka World. Why? Why can't you find the 7.62 ammo from Nuka World? That would have been sweet to stock up on that. So I went to Coastal Cottage. I had to kill a raider to get that settlement. That would have been an interesting settlement to have way up there in the north. That Mirelurk Queen's always wandering around. Anyway, we headed south from there to go grab some of the stuff the iBots were hunting out for me, and we ended up at Revere Beach Station, took out some raiders, and found a book depository. It was funny because all the raiders had book return tokens on them. I noted because it was odd. So I'm kind of curious. I found one with a few tokens and another with a few tokens. I'm like, huh, then found the book return and checked, and there was a fusion core for 50. I think you get 3 per book or something. And I have like 150 tokens, so I bought it, and can always use the fusion cores because I'm using the crap out of the jetpack, and I like to sprint, so I go through them. Kept heading south and found a settler wanted some Radaway, and made my way to Wilson Automatoy's corporate headquarters, where the horse armor is generally found. I went there for some 2mm electromagnetic cartridges, and there were 19 of those, but also in the same box was 13 missiles and 4 pulse grenades and a fusion core. I was like, sweet, that was 4 of those iBot pods all right in one spot. So that was cool. Wandered to the south of there, and I met a trader named Dreth. I can't remember seeing her before. Well, she didn't carry anything really of note, but I went to Alt Tab to look her up in the wiki and see if there's any story behind her. And when I hit Alt, it set my grenade button off. Well, I had picked up those pulse grenades from the iBot cache, and I had dropped the other grenades I was carrying, but I hadn't selected a new explosive. So that meant with my level 3 of nuclear physicist that when I don't have any explosives selected, that it ejects a fusion core and sets off a nuclear explosion. Oops. I backed away, but Dreth and her bodyguards died instantly. Too bad for her. I decided to go over and do a little bit with the Brotherhood because I had been enjoying having fun with them. And they sent us underneath to clear out feral ghouls under the airport. I finished up. I passed that one with a charisma check. If you get the antagonist of the story and get him to turn himself into the authorities, that's the rogue soldier there, then and you get him to turn himself in, then you are rewarded a special power armor piece, the Exemplar's T60C, which comes with a 10% reduction in action points, costs and VATs, and upgraded to C rank. I was able to pass that charisma check by taking off my power armor, putting on summer shorts for 2 charisma, and some fashionable glasses for a +1, and drinking a beer for 1. Timmy only has a charisma of 1, so he's not working with much there. He was looking pretty sweet. Handy. They just happen to be in the suitcases there at the airport, the next room over. So I fast traveled back to Sanctuary because I'm kind of using it as a test area for shit in the workbench build menu. I thought, oh man, I'm trying to not fast travel. Hey, do I have any of those Vertbird flares? Sure enough, Brotherhood Vertbird came down and took me to the Bridwin. I don't do that too often. It was a lovely tour. The pilot was nice enough to make sure that we flew over the Red Rocket and the Starlight Theater so that I could see from above what Sim Settlements is making in the settlements for me. And some random scavvers started shooting at us as we flew by. There was one of them was a named scavver in the group. His name was Andrew. He's known for always taking pot shots at Brotherhood vehicles.
Yeah.
And I was
Shoot
able to
them
make over
down.
2,000 caps by turning in blood samples I'd been collecting, and also a few hundred more in technical documents that I gave to that elitist jerk with the cat. And turned in a couple of quests, and Commander Kills ordered me to kill Virgil. If I do, he's going to give me a sweet, unique helmet. What do I do? What do I do? Choices. Maybe I should just go and talk to Virgil and see what happens. And so I highly suggest that everybody try to take a vert bird over the glowing sea. It is just lovely, absolutely magical. I gotta say, that is the easiest trip I've ever taken to Virgil's Cave. Too bad I don't have much reason to go back there now anymore. A lot of good loot in there. I insist that you also take a vert bird back so that you can get an aerial view of the other side. You always ride on the left side where the gun is mounted, so that way you get an opposite view. Hey, you should check out the sweet new helmet Captain Kills gave me. It's the Visionary T60C helmet. It's a unique power armor helmet that increases your action points refresh, speed, and both slightly higher defensive ratings. I think it has like 2 extra points of damage resistance, so it's not a huge amount. But yeah, vert birds are fun travel for a change. If you get a chance, try traveling around by vert bird just for a change. And all right, thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the wasteland.
Awesome, Steve. Tell me all about this Exemplar T60C series. Is there a piece for each? Is there a helmet? Is there arms? Is there all of that? Because I'm interested in this AP because I just started investing in some science, and I've got the armor perk, so I'm going to start playing around with some power armor stuff here pretty soon. I'm interested in boosting my AP for my hammer throwing. Tell me all about that, Steve.
Well, you get them through doing stuff with the. Am I echoing?
Oh, am I? Do I need to hop off and hop back on? You guys go ahead and.
Or I'm echoing.
And I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I was going to mention to him just that you get them through Brotherhood quest.
So you killed Virgil.
I did. Totally.
Rude. Did you fight back?
Oh yeah, he fought back, and the turrets in there turn against you, and the robot starts firing on you.
Oh really? Was
Yeah.
it hard?
Not really, because I kind of caught him a little bit by surprise.
Yeah. Dang.
No, but but he's like, "You've been sent here to kill me." So you talk to him first.
And then you let him know you're gonna kill him.
Oh,
pretty much.
Poor Virgil.
Poor Virgil.
No, that's too bad.
He's a nice guy.
Virgil's the best.
He's doomed to die in my playthrough also.
Oh.
Poor Virgil. We're playing a fun little game on the side there in the Facebook group and over on Twitter. We're having people toss out actors' names as we're casting the Fallout 4 movie, our theoretical movie. And, our conversation's getting pretty heated as people throw down their opinions about what actors are appropriate for these roles. It's pretty fun. I don't know. But someone said Virgil would... I almost vomited in my mouth. Someone said that Kelsey Grammer... Someone wanted Frasier to be Virgil, guys.
I could totally see that.
Oh, shut up.
His voice kind of sounds like Frasier.
My wife is saying that Frasier's cool.
They could do a lot of good things with CGI now, so I could see it.
Good. You need somebody who sounds sophisticated,
Yeah, that they would just give it to Andy Serkis. He gets everything that's not real these days. You know what I mean? Anything that's motion capture or CGI.
Andy Andy Serkis could totally do strong.
Oh, jeez. He's gonna play the Death Claws too, and the Feral Ghouls.
And bloat flies.
Lived with zombies for a month as a actor, absorbing everything in his environment to really learn how to live as a ghoul. You know what I mean? He's method acting a ghoul, you guys. Feral specifically. Right on. Steve, good feedback. There's tons of stuff I have written down here. But there is a piece for the T60 stuff. I need to look up that AP.
Let me see. There's a helmet, and then chest piece, and I think the legs do something else. But they don't have, the Brotherhood does not have like a whole set of unique power armor. It's just most of the pieces.
Yeah, I just want the AP so I can, get my VATs. That's my main concern is all time, so I can get the most swings in my VATs. You mentioned fusion cores. Of course, you're burning through them. You and I have different philosophies on the fusion cores. I always have too many, and I'm like, oh, what do I do with these things? But I can never sell them because I'm always like, no, I might need them later. But you're always collecting as many as you can. Never seem to have enough. What is this expelling the fusion core thing? Can you control it anyway, or does it sort of launch it over your head? How does that work?
It like drops out the back and glows and beeps, and then explodes in a few. Yeah, like behind you.
And you just have to run.
Yeah.
Except for you don't have a fusion core in your power armor anymore, so you probably can't run quickly. You're probably just stomping slowly away from an exploding.
Well, it uses one.
Oh,
whatever you have in it, if you have 50% full fusion core, it pops that out the back and puts in a brand new one.
Oh, it replaces it. Okay.
It replaces it, yeah, right away. So basically, you're just ejecting a nuclear grenade out your back.
Nice. Bird to Virgil, brilliant idea. I'd never thought about doing that. That's perfect. You don't have to discover the location before Vertibird will take you there?
Oh, you have to discover it. I'd already been there.
You'd already been there. Okay. I was going to say, because that would just eliminate the whole trip if they would just take you there without knowing it. Yeah, like in Skyrim, how you can hire the carriages to take you to towns without having been there first. You know what I mean?
Oh, can you?
Yeah. So that'd be a good way. I thought the vertibirds maybe you could do that, but I guess not if you'd already been there before. The cat BOS dude. Oh, and that guy up in the Predwin with all the cats, and I was like, oh, that made me remember because I've got dog traps going. That guy's got like dog food that I can steal. He's got the canned dog food. I was like, oh, that's one of the locations that there's like 4 or 5 or 10 cans on the shelf because it's that weirdo creepy guy on the Predwin with all the cats.
Proctor Quinlan.
Yeah. Do I turn in my technical document? What are those things you find? I'm finding lots of those technical documents around. Do I turn those into him too?
Yeah, dude, he'll give you 25 caps for each one.
Oh shit, I've got like 100 of them. Sweet.
Yeah, that's how I went. I went and turned in a whole crap load to him, and I was like, oh, he's like, here you go, 2,000 caps. I was like, sweet.
Fuck yes.
And then there's the other person up by all the medical stuff where they're dissecting the super mutant and or there's a ghoul, and they give you caps for blood samples on different creatures that you find in the wasteland.
No way.
Scribe Naraya. She'll also, if you collect enough of the blood samples, she'll give you a, I think it's Radex or Radaway. It's a better version of that. Because if you talk to her about that quest, she'll actually tell you that that's why she's wanting the blood samples.
That's pretty awesome.
And they're both the kind of Radiant quests where you don't actually have to do anything. All you have to do is just play the game, you see it, you pick it up, and then you don't even have to return it right away. You can just keep collecting until you end up back there again and do it when you when you come back. Yeah.
And I was really blown away. Sorry, did you have another thought there?
No, go.
I was really blown away by the crazy distant connection between the big gem wrench and the mods and the FEV lab. I know that those mutants were created by FEV, but did you mention, is there some mention to a backstory in a terminal there at the wreckage plant or whatever it's called, the wreckage yard, that mentions why, or a terminal in the old section of the institute or whatever that mentions the FEV and why the mods are connected to a wrench? Like, is there mention?
I didn't find anything like that. I've just always wondered why they were there, because you've seen them before too.
No, I've never actually noticed that. I wrote that down because I thought that was remarkable that they put that together.
I always end up seeing those mods in the FEV lab. So,
I mean, chances are I've picked them up before and I just don't remember, you know?
Right. So yeah, found Big Jim. Big Jim's pretty cool. So you can always put those on Big Jim if you're a melee character.
And I don't know if you're sort of like a stats guy. Do you recall a max damage? Does this make the Big Gem a pretty deadly worthwhile?
It's not the top one. There's like a heavy mod that you can put on there, but they're they're like middle two, because there's like 4 different mods you can put on Big Gem, I think. Yeah, like bladed, hooked, weighted, that kind of thing.
Nice. Let's see. Did I have any? Okay. Here's a question. I just wanted to sort of take a poll across the room here. He mentioned Spucky, which is a very regional specific term for like a sub or hoagie or whatever. We're from a lot of different locations here. What are your guys' specific location words for like your weird local sandwich? You got to have something in Texas, right, Leon? You guys have lots of weird stuff in Texas.
Yeah, but it's all barbecue related, or beef related.
That's delicious, regardless.
Oh yeah, but otherwise it's just Subway sandwich, as far as I know.
In California, you guys really like to try to get weird and healthy and try to fuck up a lot of food out there, Sarah. What are you guys doing?
Like, we don't have any special words, but like we put avocado on legit everything.
Yeah, avocado toast has now made it to Indiana. I know it's been a thing out there forever, but it has now gotten to Indiana even.
So good, and you will go to brunch and pay $12 for a freaking piece of toast with
piece of toast with avocado. It
will be amazing. It will be the best avocado toast you've ever had in your life.
No, I was asking my wife, I've heard about this avocado toast. What's so special? What is this? That sounds great. What is avocado toast? Like, I was expecting it to be, I don't even know what I was expecting. Like some really, an avocado carved like a radish rose or something spectacular. I don't even know what I was expecting, but she explained it was just avocado on toast. And I was like, what?
Just avocado smeared on toast with some.
Yeah. It's like flavorless guacamole on dry bread.
Put spice on it. You can put like everything but the bagel spice. Oh, super good. Or if you want to get extra special, you could put like some hard-boiled egg on it.
Okay, now you're just getting crazy.
It's just make some tonight before you go to bed. It'll be the best decision you've made all day.
We had guacamole with dinner tonight.
See?
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Steve, you mentioned he had a Gauss rifle, the Roach guy.
Yeah, did he drop anything cool for you?
No, he kicked my ass with a fucking Gatlin laser. We looked it up, and like evidently the 2 big guns he can usually have are either the not a fat man. What's the minigun or the Gatlin laser? And I died twice by him each. He got me with each weapon, I believe. So, but that just must have been a legendary drop or something, right? If he just had a cool item with you or something, right?
Right. Yeah, he had a Gatling laser, and he had that. What was it again? It was the one that fires the 2mm, right?
You had like 14 descriptors before. It must have been a really powerful weapon. It was like
I think I just said it wrong when I was trying to read it from my notes. It had plasma infusion, and it was a Gauss rifle. That's what it was.
yeah. I those Gauss rifles are great.
This is apparently the round table of King Cockroach because like everybody's encountering him, and I'd never even met him before this particular playthrough.
I didn't know him either. Steve, did you know
Nope, never seen him.
him? Who was it? Pat was like, "Oh yeah, that guy. Of course, him." La di da. And I was just like, I'd never seen this guy before. He's like, every time he's there, always, Andrew. And then we find out that he's not there until like level. I don't even remember. Does it actually say? I think it just says he spawns, aka at a certain point. You know, it doesn't even tell you what level it spawns, does it?
I didn't see it.
Has to be around 30 or something, though. It has to be fairly late. I forget his name. What was his name again? Anybody got it off the top of their heads?
Reggie Blatoria or Reggie?
Reggie, yeah. And it just,
Reggie, I love it.
hey, Reggie, cockroach man. Good job. You were talking about here there would be monsters, and I was just reminiscing the first time I heard that quest. I was like, oh yes, finally, some underwater monsters. I'm gonna get my underwater monsters that I've been droning on and on about. I'm sure people are tired of hearing me complain about there's no underwater monsters. Here there be monsters. There we go. Finally, Bethesda put some underwater monsters in the game. I was really disappointed it was that fucking submarine at first. I wanted the Loch Ness monster. I don't know. Irradiate something underwater, guys.
You know, I had actually never done. I had done that quest once before with like Sid, but before that, I don't think I would have remembered, and I don't think I ever did it because I hadn't run across it in the previous 2 years of playing.
It's a fun surprise. It's cool.
Yeah.
So what were you doing? Where did you fall from that you landed right by the kid? What happened there?
Club 360. It's like a hotel or something right there. Joe Spucky's is at the bottom of it, and so it's like just a really tall one of those skyscrapers you can go up in.
Okay, so Joe Spucky's like the sandwich shop.
Yeah, Joe Spucky's is sandwich shop on the bottom, and then Club 360 is up above it. I got a Settlement Radiant quest that sent me there to, I think, kill some super mutants, and the guy I had to kill was on the very top floor, which was, outside. So I was just like, oh, well, let me just keep cruising.
New Zealand have a cool sandwich name or anything? Cool like Spucky, something specific region like that?
Good question. Not really. They have so not really.
Where did you live in the States when you were?
Maybe they do sell a lot of toasties here, but that's like some sort of food in toast or in bread, and then you toast it. So there's
A little pie or something?
Oh, dude, they got meat pies. Oh yeah, the meat pies are fantastic. You've never had the mince and cheese pies like they have here.
No.
What is a meat pie? Can someone please explain this concept to me? Because I know it's like a European thing or something. Like they ate it like in the Middle Ages and whatnot.
Well, you can put anything in them, but one of the best ones here is like steak and cheese or mince and cheese.
Like
And so
pie.
yeah, and by mince and cheese, I mean it's ground beef is what they call mince here, or they call ground beef mince here. And so you just cook it up with like some gravy, and you put some cheese in it, and then you cook in a little pie, like kind of like a chicken pot pie.
Huh. I thought that had something to do with raisins.
Yeah, me too.
Where did I get that impression?
Oh, you're thinking like a fruit mince pie. See, yeah, that's something different. They have those at Christmas time.
And it's like
Yeah.
fruit and meat.
No, it doesn't have actual meat in those pies.
Oh, okay.
I think mince must be a description of what you do to the stuff, like ground beef, mince. You mince up the meat.
Ah.
Same thing with the fruit. You mince up the fruit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, that's a great one. Is a pie is the big like sandwich thing here. Like you can grab pies everywhere. They're awesome.
Yeah, I've always heard about those in UK or at Australia and stuff. People mentioned those. That sound delicious. But yeah, I'd love to try
Yeah,
this sometime.
I love it. I love a good mince and cheese pie. I'm curious to hear what Mark's favorite pie is.
Blech. That's how I feel about it. If you
You
put
don't like meat
avocado in
pies? You put avocado on it and Sarah eat it, right?
If you okay, listen, you can make it Californian if instead of ground beef, you do ground turkey.
But instead of ground turkey, you make it TVP.
I don't even know what TVP is.
Are you kidding me? You're not a real Californian.
I'm born and raised.
What is TVP?
Textured vegetable protein. Come on, none of you have obviously never been vegan.
We don't do that. No, we just do some tofu over here.
Yeah.
I'm Texan. I eat steak.
Yeah. Leon definitely doesn't know what TVP is over there. He has no idea. Yeah, I went to the hippie college, guys. I used to shop at the hippie food co-op, and I was never a fan of tofu, kind of a mushy texture, so I'd get the TVP because it was a lot more like ground beef. It's delicious if you guys looking for your meat alternative.
No thanks.
Put some avocado on it.
I want to hear about these horseshoe things.
Tell me more. What?
It's like maybe I think it's like an Illinois thing where you have like an open face sandwich and there's like French fries on it and then there's like gravy. No?
Oh, okay. That might be.
It's like a Midwestern thing.
That might actually be a thing. And I don't know if you guys have it. We call that a Manhattan sandwich in Indiana. It's like an open faced turkey sandwich with mashed potatoes and gravy and turkey on an open faced slice of white bread. No? Anybody? Yeah, that's a good one for Indiana. We have a weird sandwich. Yeah, it's called the Manhattan. It could be either beef or turkey. You have your slice of white bread, 2 slices of white bread, like Wonder Bread, basically, like horrible white bread. 2 slices on the plate. A scoop of mashed potatoes on each slice, and then gravy on that, and then your slice of either turkey or beef, roast beef or sliced roasted turkey, and then more gravy on top. That's called the open faced Manhattan sandwich that we have in Indiana. I forgot. A lot of people don't know about that one. Or there's the Indiana giant tenderloin sandwich. A lot of people would refer to it as a schnitzel if you're familiar with that sort of thing from Germany or Austria, that area. It's just a really, really thinly hammered out, huge piece of pork loin. Delicious. But it can be the size of a dinner plate. And then they give you this really tiny bun. So, like, the sandwich sticks out like 6 inches around the bun. It looks like a weird flying saucer or something. It's delicious. It's delicious. All right. Those are the Indiana weird regional sandwiches.
Wouldn't mashed potatoes on like bread make it like
the bread sops up the gravy and it's just delicious.
like a gross bread pudding, but with
Sarah, you just reminded me, like they got this thing here in New Zealand. It's called like a chippy buddy. So, and I've seen this at multiple places from different groups of people. And so what you do is you just take white bread, right? And then you get some chips, like from the fish and chips place. So it's like a big wrapper of chips. Then you just French fries, right? And you just grab a handful and you put it in the one slice of the white bread, and then you kind of like it holds it together, and then you can put ketchup on it and you can eat it. And it's like a French fry sandwich.
I mean, I could probably get on board with that maybe as like a taco.
She wants sprouts on avocado
with maybe some like brown rice
with a light lemon vinegar combo. As long as it doesn't have any calories, it's okay.
And maybe some raw fish in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like turn it into a poke bowl or something.
Oh my Lord.
Come out to Cali and just try all the good food. And I'm going to come out there and try this mashed potato sandwich you're talking about.
It's not really a sandwich. We say it's open face sandwich. Oh, also, Something you guys should actually look up and Google here is the Made Right Sandwich Shop in Greenville, Ohio. The Made Right sandwich is a loose meat sandwich. You guys ever had a loose meat sandwich? Oh, also delicious. Steamed
Loose
ground
meat.
beef. And it's like a sloppy Joe without any of like the sauce. It's sort of like steamed with onions and pickles. So like it's steamed in beer. So it's just ground beef, sort of like steamed in beer, and with like sort of chopped onions and pickles and mustard on a bun. It's very simple, very salty and delicious. It's very good.
I've always wanted to try a pit beef sandwich from Baltimore.
What's that one?
It's like a barbecue beef sandwich.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can't fuck around with barbecue. I like a good brisket. Leon, is there a good? What's your favorite barbecue sandwich?
Any barbecue is good for the most part.
Everything?
Yeah, I'm a fat guy. I'll eat just about anything.
Beef, turkey, pork.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like
If I have to choose, I prefer beef, like a good beef barbecue brisket. But all around, most of the places you're going to find are going to be holes in the walls. That just local places.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the best.
It's the best.
Those are the best.
You go into a barbecue place, Leon. You always get two giant side dishes. What are the best two top side dishes at a barbecue restaurant?
Mustard potato salad and pecan pie.
Pecan pie is a side dish? I think that's
for me.
I think that'd be a dessert. That's awesome. I always roll with macaroni and cheese at barbecue joints for some reason. I always find that the mac and cheese at barbecue joints is just hands down the best for some reason.
Fried okra.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a really good one too.
So good.
I always enjoy the coleslaw.
My wife is a coleslaw. Yeah, she likes it. Like, basically, it tastes like a vanilla ice cream has been melted into cabbage. You know what I mean? She's saying no, but it tastes super sweet to me because the coleslaw that I really like is like basically just vinegar soaked in cabbage soaked in vinegar. But that's the kind of coleslaw I like. Just makes your cheeks hurt. That sort of tart. You know what I mean? That's the good stuff. God, we're talking about crazy sandwiches.
Random side conversation.
You need to serve the noodles over at what's his name? I almost said Nakatomi, but that's that thing from Die Hard. What's
Takahashi?
Takahashi.
Takahashi.
I almost said the Die Hard building. Okay, nice side quest we just went on there, guys. Steve, I didn't even get through all my notes with you.
I wanted to mention, like Leon brought up, that he couldn't mix the ice cold drinks from Nuka World.
Oh yeah, can you?
And then, well, no, he said no, but same thing. Like I went to get the iBot pod to go get that 7.62 ammo. I was like, oh man, why couldn't they have included that in there? Updated that code somewhere to.
Yeah, why is that? Why do you think?
Technically, Nuka World was after Automatron, which introduced the iBot pod things, and so
they could work all that together, couldn't they?
Oh, I'm sure they could have, but
they did.
It got missed somewhere in development.
And what I thought was really strange and actually killed one of my characters, Steve, is I don't know if you were listening to the show back in the day when Far Harbor was fairly new, but right after Far Harbor had been out for a little bit, they did like a massive Far Harbor update. And instead of pushing out just an update to the file that was on your Xbox already, they actually sent you a whole new version of the game. So it kind of just reloaded everything. And if you had mods loaded, it ignored all of that and wouldn't load any of that stuff. And it just sort of like fucked up that character pretty much. Anytime I tried to go to Far Harbor, it would just crash and it killed everything.
That was the one where you were using the camping mod, right? On the create your own campsite?
Exactly, yeah. I had all my stuff stored in a red workbench that I put up at like a campground or something somewhere.
Did you say, I think I remember it was at Cranberry? Island?
Yeah, might have been down there at Cranberry Island. That was when people were dropping. Once you'd fast travel to the place with a big group, and since Cranberry Island was on the water, a big group of people, half the people would like drop into the water. I was wondering because I had like the settlement beacon set up to attract settlers, and I was like, why are no settlers coming? What is the problem? And I found out that they were dropping about 50 feet out into the water, and the water current was taking them down shore, and they were all like collected swimming and like caught in a cell out in the water out in the middle of nowhere. I found like 15 people all treading water together out in the middle of nowhere. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I figured out that, those were settlers that when they were dropping into the game were being drifted off into some other crazy world. Oh, geez. Crazy shit. Anyway, why the fuck did they update it like that? Killed my character. But anyway, they should be able to connect that, Steve. You are correct. All right, guys. Feedback. Let's keep going on. Another one of my recent favorite submitters has been Jen. Been doing a lot of good stuff here. So let's check in and see what she has going on. Thanks, Jen Chen.
Hey, Fallout friends, I'm back with another round of feedback for you. So for this week's challenge, Crystal took on the federal rations stockpile. Initially, I went in from the front door, but then I had to stop. I realized my hacking skills were terrible and I couldn't get through to the other side of the facility. So I left after clearing the front and what was inside. I left looking for another entrance, and I found the one at the Lonely Church. So once I got in through the church, I found myself fighting the last bosses that you usually fight in there, and got the password off of one of them to get into that room with all the loot. So that was really awesome. And you guys are totally right. That was a much easier way to do the stockpile. And I think I'm going to be doing that from now on. Thanks, guys. Then came time to escort the good professor. I faced the same glitch with the professor, Professor Goodfeels, that many seem to have had, and I lost him on my character. After I listened to last week's roundtable, though, I tried again with another character and made it as far as Diamond City, where Professor Goodfeels went straight for a camp of super mutants, screaming, "Exterminate, exterminate," as he died a horrible death. The Doctor Who fan inside me was amused, but everything else in me was not. With Hester's consumer robotics on my map because of the terminal, I took a trip down to see where he was headed and was greeted by some angry Mr. Handys, an Assaultron, a sentry bot, and 2 Protectorons, one with a railway rifle. And I learned the hard way not to take a sentry bot down with a melee weapon because they explode. So I had to make do with pulse mines, grenades, and lots of running away. Next up was Here There Be Monsters. I love this quest as well. Sneaking with a power fist through this one was actually a lot easier than I expected, but then I had to go get the dampening coil at the ironworks. I hadn't done the Finch Farm quest yet, and when I arrived at the furnace, I walked in on an argument between the Finch kid and the forged leader. It was a tough battle, which was made slightly easier with a missile launcher, but the kid survived and asked me to accompany him home for fear of what his dad might say. I got caps and the snazzy shish kebab weapon, which I sold for a pretty penny, and returned to the submarine and was gifted 3 homing beacons, which will come in handy later, I'm sure. The last quest of this session was Trouble Brewing. It was at this point that I realized that I could see those really awesome animations that I discovered last time by using a power attack. I'm on a PS4, so it's double tapping the top right bumper. And doing this in third person, you get a whole world of cool animations. So it's kind of changed the way I play, and the game feels a lot different, which has been a lot of fun. So I snuck in and stealthily snapped necks and strangled dudes and beat them to death with my bare hands. It's been so much fun. It was a lot of fun getting through there. I got to the basement and immediately forgot there was a holotape with the password somewhere in there. And thank goodness the terminal at the bottom of the stairs in the basement lets you know that it is there hidden in the room somewhere. So I did some climbing, found it on the shelf above Buddy, and I activated him and followed him to the Hotel Rexford. A sniper rifle was extra helpful in our journey because, like the professor, Buddy likes to live dangerously, and I had a hard time keeping him out of trouble. In every other gameplay, though, I've tried to keep Buddy. I figured this time he would be happy and appreciated and loved with Rufus at the Hotel Rexford. That's all for now, guys. I'll be back hopefully next session with another round of feedback for you. And until then, I'll see you in the wasteland.
Everyone's so concerned about Buddy's well-being in this playthrough. It's very nice, everyone. He's going to feel well-loved over there with Rufus. Good job, guys.
Does he ever actually get like murdered?
I think he cannot make it if you send him somewhere and he gets caught in crossfire, right? He can die, right?
Yep, he can get killed.
I think the best way to have him do it is to get away from him and fast travel to your location and just wait in bed, and he'll just show up magically like 2 days later. And I think the likelihood of him dying sort of disappears if you do it that way, maybe.
That's what I've always done. I've just fast traveled back and waited for him. So maybe that's my deal. I didn't know I had to escort him.
Yeah. No, you don't have to. I was just doing it for fun. You know,
How
me
is
and
that
Buddy.
fun? He's so slow.
It's like a buddy road trip. A buddy movie, a road trip buddy movie. We were gonna have a good time. He was gonna tell me jokes. I was gonna store booze in his belly. It'd be good stuff. But I digress. It was super fucking annoying. Jen, thank you for your feedback. Sentry bots, melee. I found that to be a big issue as well. Being a melee character. Also, being a melee character, how are you dealing with your turrets and your super mutant suiciders? Those are two other foes that I have problems with, being a melee / unarmed / power fist type character.
What do you do? Because you just can't. You can't hit them with the bat.
At this point, I've got enough strength and armor built up where I can just sort of like withstand the onslaught of machine gun firing from a turret and just go up to it and kill it. But you know, a couple levels ago, I was still having to like pull out a pistol or something and duck behind, and my pistol is crap because I don't have gun nut and I don't have any mods on any of the guns or anything. So like I'm doing, 7 damage with any of my pistols. They're really pathetic. So it takes a long time to kill turrets, and super mutant suiciders, like they kept killing me time and time again. But I found that now that I have Blitz 2, and if I attack them before they're within a certain range for me, I kill him every time before he slams it on my face. But still, sometimes they still get me. They're a problem. All right.
I liked hearing her talking about power attacks and her hand-to-hand melee attacks. She's making me want to play that way.
Oh, yeah. That made me write in big, bold letters here in all capital, third person. Woo! Because I'm a big proponent. I always play in third person. So she said that was different for her. And that's fun. That's one of the reasons we do the roundtables, to draw you out of the normal way you play. So maybe I should take a lesson from you, Jen, and start playing in first person a little bit. Maybe that'll be fun. She's excited to use the homing beacon too. Good luck. Let us know if you have any success with that. I've wasted 2 of them and you only get 3 evidently. So I don't know. Let us know if you can. It's evidently just as hard to escort Professor Goodfeels across the map as it is to use these homing beacons successfully.
Leon, do you play first person or third person?
First person.
I
Yeah.
usually go first person too. Maybe a challenge would be to go third person.
You totally seem like a first person type of dude, Leon.
Oh yeah. Next time we do a roundtable for Fallout 4, I actually want to do an unarmed character. That's one of the few I haven't actually done.
Nice. Power fist count as unarmed, right? There's that one you get from Swan is always the one I like.
That's a Furious Power Fist, I believe.
Yeah. And then you can like electrify it or something. I think you can put a couple of different mods on it if you have the what is it, blacksmith, whatever that one is. And shish kebab, she got the shish kebab. Sold that for a pretty penny. That's what you do with the shish kebab. It's really not worth hanging on to, guys. Just sell that shit. All right. Third person, Jen. Glad you like that. Sarah, you play in first person, right?
I switch between the two, but I'm mostly
Yeah.
first person.
Yeah. No power armor, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Thought you were
My last character, I got into it a little bit, but I'm just too lazy to go worrying about fusion cores.
Yeah. God, I don't know. They're all over the place. I feel like I'm kicking them as I walk down the Wasteland Boulevard.
But if you play in power armor, suddenly you can't find any.
That's the truth. Yeah.
That was my problem.
That's just like anything in life. As soon as you need it, you can't find it. You're not looking for it. You're drowning in it. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah. Right on, Jen. Thank you so much for your feedback. Welcome back to your second week at work, Josh. I hope that you're feeling better, buddy. Ooh, that second week back is just hell, right? Man, I always hate the first week back after a nice long vacation or a nice long break. I'm not saying you had a vacation, Josh. Okay, calm down. I know you had a kidney out, dude. Relax. All I'm saying is after a break, isn't that first week back at work really a bitch? It's a grind, isn't it, guys?
That'll be me next week. I'm on vacation right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's super sweet. I get to go here in a few weeks. We go in October for our wedding anniversary. I always take a week off and we go up and stay at a nice little cabin. My uncle is nice enough to let us use his little cabin he has on a lake. Super nice just to sit there and not do anything. People are like, so what do you guys do? I'm like, what do you mean do? We don't. We sit.
Sounds amazing.
We look at the water. They're like, what do you mean look at the water? I'm like, we sit in chairs and look at the water. It's fun. Shut up. Don't tell me what to do on my vacation. I just don't want to go sit in line in traffic or stand in line at amusement parks, guys. That's not me.
You can tell people I did nothing and it was everything I thought it could be.
That's all I ever want, Steve. One of my friends on social media was complaining about being bored the other day. And I was like, and I sat and I thought for a second. I truly miss boredom. You know, having a toddler in the house, there's no such thing as that anymore. There's no slow moments ever. Oh, to be bored. You teenagers out there, appreciate your freedom. I know school just started. Appreciate those summers. Oh my God, it's an amazing time. You guys remember summer? What that was like?
It was magic.
Being an adult sucks. Josh, welcome back to work, buddy.
Hi, this is Josh from Idaho with Baddies Feedback. Let's see. So I have been doing a lot of running around and settlement building and trying to get as much stuff for the Minutemen going as possible. So I ended up somebody at some point in time sent me to the federal ration stockpile a long time ago. And of course, I didn't write down any notes, but I do remember that the final boss was Red. I killed her, and I believe she had a sister, Lily, that was taken captive by some other raiders. And they were trying to those other raiders were trying to trick Red into sending stuff after they had already killed Lily, but she was able to figure it out. Because her sister never called her Red. Professor Goodfeels, I was excited to do this quest. I went to Sunshine Tidings earlier in the game. Like I said, I've been running around a lot, and went ahead and made it my settlement. But I didn't use the terminal, and I think if you use the terminal, you can keep Professor Goodfield's there, but I didn't do that. So when I ended up coming back to Sunshine Tidings to actually do the mission, there were no Mr. Handy units around when I got on that terminal. So I was a little disappointed with that, but I guess that's another playthrough that I'll get to do. Let's see. So there will be monsters. I went and talked to Donnie. He told me about the sea monster on the docks that was poking its eye out. I swam out, and it was a submarine. Talked to Captain Zhao, and he informed me that I needed to head to Saugus Ironworks to get some dampening rods. I cleared it out before, but it was repopulated. And so cleared out those raiders, or the forge, and then got the dampening rods. Came back to the sub, and then Captain sent me to find the warheads. So I went ahead and did that. And then he explicitly told me to make sure to install the dampening rods first before the warheads, or the sub would explode. So I did, of course, what anyone in my position would do, I would think. I quick saved, and then I installed the warhead first, and the sub exploded. After that, I reloaded and did it in the correct order, and everything worked out fine. After that, I went to go see Donnie again on the docks. I told him that the monster swallowed me, and I had to cut out its heart to get out. He said he didn't see it, but thanked me for killing it. He seemed a little disappointed when he was telling me that, though. I reached the highest affinity with McCready, so I got his kill shot perk. It's 20% increased accuracy for headshots while using VATS. I ended up on my way to go get the quest for Drinking Buddy. When I was in Hotel Rexford, I ran into the Vault-Tec sales rep. So I ended up sending him back to Sanctuary. I'm going to set him up with a store so that he can still be in sales. I got Hancock back so I could see about romancing him. Found Drinking Buddy and the recipe for Gwinnett Pale Ale. I couldn't get into a safe. I don't have lockpick on this playthrough, and that's been really frustrating because I always have lockpick. I also didn't have Hacker as an assigned perk, but because I filled out my other perks, I have started putting some into Hacker. I've got it up to Master recently, so I am not getting locked out of everything, but yeah, there was a safe that I couldn't get into. I did have an interesting experience earlier in the game where I was doing some settlement building, and I was scrapping some different things, and I didn't have a high enough I didn't have any lockpick, so and it was like an expert lock or something like that that I on the safe, and so I scrapped the safe, and it said that it transferred the contents of the safe to my workbench. So I thought, hey, that's a pretty good way to get into safes if you don't have lockpick in your settlements, at least. I headed over to see Rufus at the Hotel Rexford. I had speech checked him earlier into give me 400 caps for a returning buddy. So I went ahead and did that. And then Buddy gave me 2 ice cold Gwinnett Pale Ales. Let's see. So ended up taking Hancock on a kidnapping rescue mission after that. And at the end of that, he wanted to talk to me, and I romanced him, gained his highest affinity. So I got the ISO doped perk, which gives you critical hit value increases 20% faster. If I have 250 radiation, and it said that was equivalent to 25% of my max health has to be filled with radiation. I haven't experienced that yet. I have slept in a bed around Hancock, so I've got the lover's embrace. Don't remember what that gives you. But this, actually, every playthrough that I've done so far, and I'm sure this is unlike most people that play the game, I've always played on normal level. And sometimes I found it difficult, and sometimes I found it really easy. So I finally decided to boost it up to hard. I haven't run into any bosses since I've done that, but it still seems fairly easy. I know there's another level, very hard, and then survival. I've thought about doing a survival character, but I have a good feeling that I wouldn't last that long, and it'd be pretty difficult. But I think I am going to try that. Maybe not for the roundtable, just because I don't have a lot of time to game. Yeah. Am looking forward to Fallout 76. My wife pre-ordered it for me for my birthday present, so I was pretty excited about that because it comes out a little bit after my birthday. So should be fun playing that with you guys online, those of you on Xbox. Let's see, I think that's all. We'll see you in the wasteland.
Thank you so much, Joshua, sir. He was mentioning right off here he doesn't have a lot of time for gaming, and in the same breath mentioning also that he wants to try survival mode. The one thing I found about survival mode is the biggest fucking time suck because of the way the saves work. If you don't hit something correctly in some stupid way, you mess up and you have to replay the last 15 minutes or something. It sucks. I don't like it.
To leave his console running all day while he's at work.
If you do that survival mode, you have to run a mod for saves. The way that survival mode in Fallout 4 works with their save system is just unacceptable, and it's stupid. And I don't know why they do it the way they do it. It's really dumb. The sleeping to say it's ridiculous. Unacceptable, Bethesda. So run a mod, everyone. If you're doing that survival mode, run a save mod. It's stupid the way they do it.
And he commented that he plays on normal. I think I'm playing on normal too. I don't even think I'm playing on hard.
Normal's usually about as hard as I play. I'm usually on either easy or normal. Yeah. No shame, dude. You don't got it. We're not like testing.
Not at all.
Like competition, game driven here. Like I don't care. To have fun. Play whatever levels you have fun. You gotta play very easy. Who cares? He said he's doing lots of settlement building. I've finally, guys, got to spend a good chunk of time building my settlement over there at the Kingsport Lighthouse. I was originally signed the under the bleachers place over there at the home plate or whatever. Didn't like it. Moved out. Didn't have my freedom to build what I wanted to. So Bell has moved over to Kingsport Lighthouse, and I finally got some settlement time for my character. I've posted a bunch of pictures over on the Facebook group if anyone wants to go see. Sort of crazy Argyle pattern I did with lights around this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you did that lighting. What did you use?
That's just in lights. There's like these little red and green and white lights. Kind of look. It was like Christmas lights, and I was kind of doing that effect. But yeah, I don't know. I was just messing around with lights and found a little pattern I liked, and was putting sort of like fake scaffolding around and putting bells all the way down the lighthouse, and then putting a crisscross of those little side lights up and down in between the bells and stuff. So settlement building, it was fun to do. I haven't done it in a long time, but it really, I mentioned there was a copper issue I was having. It really sucked my funds down, guys. I was up over like 20 some thousand caps before I started this project. I literally have 58 caps in my inventory now. I wasted everything to get I need to put out a little donation jar in front of the lighthouse now, because I start charging admission. I've got all these dogs running around. I need to start charging these dogs rent.
Well, it's pretty. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, start charging. That's when people start going away.
Did he say what settlement he has? I forget.
He mentioned sending the Vault Tech rep back to Sanctuary. So was he going back to Sanctuary?
Maybe. I know there's a safe or two that you can scrap there as well. Like he mentioned, yeah, it puts that stuff into the workbench. And I hope he put the Vault Tech guy into, what is it, a general store? Because then that makes him like one of those level 4 trader guys.
It's a trading emporium, so you actually got to have not just local leader, but also the caps collector too. So he might not have that one. It's the highest level one you can get. You got to have that one. Then you can put the Vault Tech guy there, and that turns it into level 4.
Jesus Christ, Leon. You're like a Fallout encyclopedia, dog.
I just did it this morning, so that's why I know.
Yeah, nice.
All right. So you put him into one of those?
Yeah.
All right, tell me about the lady who's the DJ or secretary or whatever down at the radio station where Rex does voice acting work. She's also one of those. What do you have to do for her?
The higher level clothing shop. She'll do clothing. I'm honestly not that impressed with the items they give you. I mean, it's good for the caps, but really it's not that impressive, the extra stuff that you get.
How many caps will you find extra? What sort of percentage are we talking about here?
Oh, I don't know. It just, I just go back every so often and collect. I don't really pay attention to that mostly. It's extra for me because I'm too busy, collecting and selling other stuff. It's just when I hit there, I use them as vendors to buy my stuff when I'm selling. I like to throw them into Covenant, and then so you have Penny, and then the Vault Tech guy, then the lady from WRVR, and then the engineer from Vault 81, the one where you get Curie. If you kill her brother, she will eventually she'll agree to leave you, and then you can make her a trading emporium also, and she'll be a level 4 vendor.
There's also
Tina DeLuca.
Yeah, that's her name.
I didn't even know you could send. I thought that you had to send Vault Tech rep to Sanctuary. You can send them to other places. I didn't know you could send them to Covenant and stuff.
Yeah, after you send him to Sanctuary the first time, your first conversation with him afterwards, you can tell him that you've got a job for him, and then you can then send him to another settlement. But I believe that's the only time you can actually send him, because I've tried to send him at different times later, and it wouldn't do it. So I think that's the only time you get that chance.
I must have messed it up every time, because at that point, I always take that as an indication. Oh, this is where you build that shop, and this is where you assign him to the shop here in Sanctuary. I've never put him anywhere except for Sanctuary, I don't think.
I just sent him to the Slog because I figured he would fit in over there. And I took all the ghouls at the Slog, and I put them in pompadour wigs with the tunnel snakes jackets.
Oh, that's so nice of you. Their heads won't be chilly now.
So yeah, I sent him over there.
All right. Josh also mentioned a couple of cool perks and stuff. He mentioned what did he say? McCready's headshot perk. Do you guys remember when that was bugged when the game first came out?
I do, but I had never really gotten his perk before.
It was if you had VATS on, you had a 95% chance of a headshot no matter what your shot was. It was just automatically 95%. That was amazing. It was hilarious. He also asked, what was Lover's Embrace? You guys remember off the top of your head? I got it pulled up here. Lover's Embrace, a temporary perk that grants the sole survivor a plus 15% experience boost for 8 hours after sleeping any amount of time in an unowned bed with a companion with whom the player character has a romantic relationship in Fallout 4. Okay, so just 15% experience boost. That's sweet. Will that stack, Leon, with if I hit the pommel horse, get my agility boost, get that 15% experience boost?
I don't see why not, since the agility boost would be something different. What I wonder is I don't actually know if it would stack with the squirrel stew or the bloodleaf tea. I'll have to check that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, get that experience boost. Always before turning in a quest, something like that. Take a nap with your lover before turning that stuff in. Know what I mean?
So where are all these squirrels that people are making squirrel meat stew out of?
Yeah,
They aren't there.
Where's the iguana? There's iguana tail or some stuff, right? Iguana bits.
I believe the iguana and the squirrels are the Bethesda's version of Soylent Green.
Oh, gross. Where did you pick that up? Where's that theory come from, Leon?
Oh man, isn't there a reference to the iguana bits being just whatever kind of meat, human meat, whatever, in one of the previous Fallouts? I can't remember now. I think there's a reference, but I can't
think
remember
it's in
what
New
it is.
Vegas somewhere.
Okay, maybe. I don't remember which one it is, but I think there's a reference at some point in one of the previous games that at least the iguana bits are like human meat, but I'm not for certain on that, so don't quote me on it.
Sweet. All right, Josh, thank you so much for your feedback, sir. We have one more set of feedback this evening, everybody. It's everybody's favorite, Aaron to W. Mark.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mark with a W. You can ask, but I'd probably have to kill you. So I'm going to be brief because I was having too much fun this week. I didn't actually take any notes, and I did things a little bit backwards. I started off with Trouble Brewing because I was following along with the role play as usual. Got Inspector Langland and Nick were over in Good Neighbor anyway. Trying to get some information where Imogene Cabot's gone, doing the whole detective sort of little thing. So I headed over to the Hotel Rexford over there, and spoke to the fella in the lobby, and he tells you about Drinking Buddy. So I headed over to go and pick him up. And then, of course, I was listening to the podcast while I was playing, and it wasn't until after I got out of there and fortunately leveled up inside and took the hacker level so I could hack the terminal to get him out. And I think it was, I can't remember who brought it up. Apparently you can find the password on a locker in a certain place up somewhere. So that was typical, but that's fine. It comes in handy anyway, I suppose. And it was really well placed. There's a Shamrock Tap House. So it's just a quick, you go sort of round the block onto the wharf there, and you can talk to that kid and get the Here There Be Monsters will start up. And then I thought I could still see Drinking Buddy waddling away. I thought, right, it'll be a good idea. I'll escort him home. It wasn't a good idea. Took a long time. It was a good 25 to 30 minutes trying to get him back to Red Rocket, until a legendary withered ghoul came out of nowhere, gave him a good whack and knocked him down. So now the quest's sort of broken a little bit. It tells me, it's optional, return Drinking Buddy to the hotel. And it's just got a constant marker of where his corpse is now. So that was one dead robot this week. And then I was wandering around. I hadn't actually come across the Sunshine Tidings co-op yet, so I was wandering around up that area, and I came across the Lonely Chapel. And inside the Lonely Chapel, there was a hatch to get in the federal ration stockpile. So I went in that way. I ended up in so I started in Red Tourette's area room, went through that all the way backwards. And that was a good laugh. And I'll not get too much into detail about that. I know you guys covered it really well last week. And then, so what was next? Right. And then we got to, so I'll skip ahead a little bit. Professor Goodfields. I attempted to live stream. Oh, I did live stream it, but it didn't archive it, so that's a bit of a shame. I'll have to try doing Twitch stream again, because it was good pretending to play up to an audience. And because of that, playing up to the audience, there was a couple times we got to Diamond City. I was fighting the super mutants, and he sort of carried on. Didn't help us, and I lost him, so I reloaded. And then so I was second time lucky. Got him all the way there. Thankfully, I was at Big John's Salvage not long before I did this, so I didn't have to sort of deal with all the super mutants over there. But there was at one stage I was getting chased down by a sentry bot and a Mr. Gutsy, and then took out some ghouls and stuff along the way. But Professor Goodfields, he just sort of didn't even bother. He kept going. Once we got to the robotics warehouse place, I sort of panicked. I'm like, oh no, I've lost him again. Where's he gone? And I realized where I was. I was like, oh, we'll go inside, have a look, see what's going on in here. So I was just going through slowly, picking stuff up, getting some nice bits of loot, and then I saw him just hovering there. I thought, oh, I got all excited, and of course I'm playing up to an audience. Oh, Mr. Goodfields, there you are. Run straight in the room, go to see him. And they've got Assaultrons, Protectrons, a sentry bot. There was all sorts in there. Massive firefight. Got through, killed all of them, blew them all up, and turned around. And what's this? Professor Goodfields is lying dead on the floor. Knelt down next to him. We made such a journey. We got him there just to have him die. He looked me straight in the face with his one good eye, says, oh, my ancestors are smiling at me, Imperial. Could you say the same, man? And that was the end of that. So now get a bit Craig David, rewind where I was doing Here They Be Monsters. I'm up to the part now where I need to go in the sub and take out the ghouls. And I don't know what's going on with my game. I don't know if there's a glitch or if there's something I've done or what the hell's happening. But every single time I get in there, I set my mines up, I sneak through, I kite them up so they come up the stairs, blow them up, start shooting them, and then every single bloody time I get a crash and it just exits the game. So I packed a tantrum and started playing Skyrim.
No, don't go start playing Skyrim. What are you doing, Mark? What anybody ideas why he's kiting these the ghouls, the first mate and all that up the sub, getting them with mines, and then it's cutting out on them. What's up? Any ideas?
Not offhand. Leon, any thoughts?
He's not running
Sarah?
No, not really. I mean, I guess it could be that they're tied to the area, because the first mate's always there by the bomb. Maybe for some reason, if you take them outside that area, it glitches for some reason.
Weird. No idea. If you want to check out Mark's Twitch stream, it's Mark with a W, MAWRK W. MAWRKW. Did he say he's archiving? Yeah. Go check out his Twitch stream. See if he has any videos up. You guys got Twitch handles? Toss those out there. Steve, do you ever Twitch?
I do. And it is. I'll work on getting that name here.
Sarah,
Leon.
I have a Twitch. There is nothing on it. But my username
Nice.
is Vossel Saw. V as in Victor, OSS, L as in Lima, SA.
We need to get you to Twitch stream a quest coming up.
No. I did a bobblehead, but I did it under the ASA podcasting one.
Yeah. You can do that too. That's fine.
I definitely should have done my Mr. Goodfeels run because it was
Ugh.
hilarious.
It's painful. Poor Mr. Goodfield, Professor. Sorry. You didn't spend 8 years in robot medical school. Referred to as Mister. I apologize.
I
Everyone-
am 32-bit underscore browser.
Oh, that's you. I was wondering.
Yeah.
I wish that we could all. I'd just look at that and be like, oh, that's Steve. You know what I mean? I know you from other social media. Just like 32-bit. Okay. Oh, that's that guy. It's Pat is something different on Twitch that he is on Twitter, Twitch and Twitter. Gotta have your same. It's just crazy. All our social media BS.
I like that Mark went through the Lonely Chapel. I didn't hear anybody else saying that they went through the Lonely Chapel, so they went through the Federal Reserve in reverse.
To going backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier that way, right? Because you run into red immediately. You don't have to.
Yeah, I think all the raiders are not expecting you to come that way. So yeah, it's that much easier, especially if you're sneaking or something.
Yeah, but there's like 2 turrets in that room too, right? Like it's kind of a dangerous room, especially if you're a melee or an unarmed character. It's pretty crazy. And then red is no slouch either. She's pretty tough.
I had a rocket launcher of limb damage, and I also got heavy weapons this round. So,
oof. She's not that tough, right?
No. She went from red turret to red dead.
Red splat.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, that's all the feedback we had for tonight. A couple of things. Steve, one thing I was going to ask you earlier. You said you name your weapons after South Park characters because your character you're doing Timmy right now because you're doing a Power Armor playthrough. What are some of the other South Park characters' weapons that you've named this season?
My rocket launcher is Mr. Garrison.
No.
And I have a shotgun of Deadeye, and I've named that one Jimmy. So it's Timmy and Jimmy.
Timmy and Jimmy. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And Butters was my laser rifle.
Yeah, that's great. He's my favorite. He's such a sweet boy.
And it's from the Tunnel Snakes DLC, the 10mm gun. I've named that one Chef.
Nice. What makes it a different 10mm gun from Tunnel Snakes DLC? What's special about it?
It's got a skin on it that reminds me of Maria from the New Vegas. And so it's like all etched. It's got a design in there, and it has a little bit of radiation damage on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool. I think I have a couple other weapons I've named along the way. Your Stan or Kyle, but those are the ones I'm using right now.
Standard South Park names like Stan and Kyle, and you have to have a Cartman. What is your Cartman?
Oh,
it has to be the Fat Man.
The Fat Man is perfect. Oh my god!
All right, I'm gonna grab a Fat Man and name it Cartman.
That's perfect. Oh, you have to get it with the. Is it Merv? What is that thing called? Or is that a rocket launcher? That might be a rocket launcher thing.
No, I think it's a Fat Man that has the Merv.
Yeah. Get the Merv thing and call that your Cartman. Because your specialty is big guns. That is so perfect, dude.
Yeah, heavy weapons.
Heavy weapons. Is there a difference? Big guns, heavy weapons? I never even.
Big guns is the bobblehead. Heavy weapons is the perk. Big
But they both,
gun,
they work-
bobblehead is what out in that vault, what 95 or something, where you take Kate.
and they
That's where
work.
that one is.
Nice. Sweet. Leon, how do you name your weapons? Do you do anything weird?
Usually I name them by what they're doing. So if it's a laser weapon, I always start it with a Z so that it's at the bottom of my inventory, and then so if it's like a laser, it's Z zap. If it's my shotgun, then it's Z blast or Z melee or Z bash, something along those lines.
That's
Like
funny.
my charisma, I'm currently wearing the silver shroud outfit because it looks cool. And so my charisma outfit, which is what's his face, Rex's suit, I named it Z Charisma. So that way it would be at the bottom and I wouldn't accidentally sell it.
Yeah, so everything that you want is down at the bottom of the inventory list. That's really smart to label stuff like that. That's good. Sarah, do you ever name anything weirdly?
It's funny that Leon says that because I put a 1 or an A at the front of mine so that they end up at the top
Nice.
of mine. But other than that, I only name the ones that I use really often, and it's nothing special. It's kind of like Leon, like I don't know, blast or that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
Boring. I should start
Cool.
coming up with better names.
No, that's cool. I wonder, you guys out there, write into the show,
Yeah.
thefalloutfeed@gmail.com. Let us know what weird inventory naming system that you have come up with. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I used to use host for one season. I used host names, so I had like a ray. My energy weapon was a ray gun. It was named Ray, and Sarah, you were the deliverer, I think. And
I had one.
yeah, you were the deliverer, I think. I don't know, and then people who were sending in feedback throughout the season, like when I came across a weapon and named it for a little bit, people who were sending in feedback, naming weapons after them for a while. So that was fun to do. What am I doing this season? No, I'm not doing anything because I found my Adam's Judgment and I haven't named anything else. So I'm not doing anything this season. How am I? My inventory management, I just favorite stuff. So there's the little heart, so I know not to sell it. That's how I know not to sell the items. Everything else just gets dumped directly into the that workbench. I've got the perks though with this character that gets you extra junk when you scrap. So anything that is not enhanced, that's just a normal base weapon, I'm not picking up off of dead enemies. But anything that has any sort of enhancement word on it, it gives you cool little bonuses when you scrap. So I'm picking anything that has any sort of enhancement up and scrapping that stuff. And I just did a big haul of that just this afternoon. Like I took everything, all the weapons, all the armor, and all the junk. I scrapped everything down to its base components. So there's no junk in my inventory anymore. Everything is broken down to its like base components. It's actually really nice to be organized for once. That'll be totally fucked as soon as I go out on one more adventure. And since the next 3 adventures that we're going on are like 3 of the most time-consuming, stupid quests in the damn game, it's getting on to next week already. I need to start my quests. Good Lord, I need to go do that tonight. Because we got what are we doing, guys? We got the big dig coming up next week. We also have, what was it? Oh, the
Silver Shroud.
Yeah, Silver Shroud. That's super long. And Kid in the Fridge is not a very time-consuming one if you don't want it to be. But if you leave it hanging, Billy is one of those awesome quest companions. It's really nice. And then the almost fucking impossible, only slightly less annoying than the Gauntlet getting into Nuka World. We have the Milton parking garage. So everyone, I'm sorry about next week's quests for that episode. That's really shitty of me. I apologize for that. But Thursday, September 6th, we'll be getting into that stuff. So good luck with that.
I've never done the parking garage.
Awesome.
Ugh.
Have fun.
Oh no.
It sucks.
Oh, great.
Hey, Andrew, I totally did one of those quests for the Brotherhood that you'll be getting because you're doing Brotherhood this round, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much more I'm gonna do. I just find them intolerable. But I need to go get that dog food at least. So what do I need? What should I be looking out for? What do you got?
Well, I was going to say, because there is a quest, once you do a few quests with them, Captain Kells will give you a quest to go take a young scribe out to go clear an area. And if you don't go clear that area, that scribe travels around with you wherever you're going.
That is awesome. I think I've actually read about that before. So, how much do you have to do?
I think it was the third quest that he gave me.
Kells, you say?
Yeah, Kells, he's the captain of the Pridwin.
I think I know what guy you're talking about.
He greets you when you first get up on the Pridwin, and then he
Right.
tells you to get to work, and then you find him from then on in the command center down below. When you first go into the Pridwin, you go in and then you go down some stairs, and he's down in there, and he gives you quests to do.
Nice. Yeah, I need to go cash in all those technical documents. I'll talk to Kells. What are the best things to do in the Prid one? What do you absolutely have to do? I get assigned some power armor or something at some point, right? I probably already.
Yep, there's a set of T60 power armor in there for you with a frame. It's on a frame. And yep, and talk to the guy who sells you stuff, and I don't know, it's just another place to go. It's kind of like the Institute. I don't think there's any hidden special thing. If there is something special and hidden, please, everybody, mention it, because I don't know.
The money making is the technical documents. That's sort of a radiant thing that'll always produce some caps on the side.
And the blood collecting, blood sample collecting.
And then right by her is the singing root. That's the Skyrim reference that everybody thinks is Nern root.
Yeah, there are those weird plants on the Pridwin that do kind of look like Nern root that people are using that as proof of argument that Skyrim and Fallout are in the same universe.
Yeah, there's a botanist terminal right there, and there's references to it making a good tea and being found near water and a couple other things. So if you do go on the Pridwin, read that terminal.
Cray. That's really awesome. Well, Sarah,
Mhm.
do you know any good towing companies?
Where is this going?
I think our good buddy Ray might need your assistance.
Oh.
We missed Ray tonight, guys. His car got towed. He's at Dragon Con. He's all sorts of stuff are going on. We'll have to have him fill us in next time when we get together on the Fallout feed. He was going to be on tonight, and then all sorts of weird stuff happened. So I'm sure he'll have a fun story to get into that was not frustrating or annoying to him this evening at all. I'm sure, right?
By next week, he'll be able to laugh about it.
I hope so.
Right now.
I really hope so. Yeah. I'd like also to extend some more good thoughts, best wishes to Adam Plude and his spinal taps treatment for his leukemia. Charge on, sir. We're in your corner. Carrie. Someone made some sort of huge lump sum donation. They made it to the 75 grand that they needed. So she's going to Spain for her neck surgery. Everyone, congratulations, Carrie. Please don't stop donating, though. They need to get to 100,000 so they can have the secondary surgery that'll help improve her quality of life greatly. So please, if you can, find in your heart. They need to get to 100K still. Still like 20 grand away. Please help if you can. But they're on their way to Spain very soon, maybe this weekend, I think. It was September when was the cutoff.
Yeah.
Congratulations on being able to get that surgery, Carrie. That was awesome. We're in your corner. Glad you got to glad you got to be in our group.
Yeah.
Just really nice to know you.
We're excited to play 76 with you.
Speaking of 76, Leon, Steve, Sarah, any news? Anything happened this week recently? After QuakeCon, it's just been kind of quiet, right?
Isn't today 76 days till 76? Either beta or something. They said something on Facebook about that.
What?
That's fun. I didn't see that.
Yeah, they had some post earlier about 76 days till something. I have to look on Facebook to find it.
Well, I was kind of thinking about they say it comes out on Xbox first. The beta will drop for Xbox. The game comes out November 14th, so they want to get any sort of testing done, at least a couple weeks probably. I'm hoping a month. And if it comes out on Xbox early, then we're hoping around my birthday sometime, which is, mid-October. And I'm thinking about the date today. Shoot, September's right around the corner. And I was like, guys, we might be like 6 weeks or less away from the 76 beta dropping. I just kind of said, I can actually kind of start doing an excited little countdown or something,
It says 76 days to go until Reclamation Day.
There you go.
Reclamation Day is the day the vault doors opened or whatever, right? Reclaim. This is going to be fun, right?
Did y'all see what they dropped in the Creation Club today? Or maybe last night?
I didn't.
Yeah, this update, I have no idea.
The Skyrim hat and sword. And a
What?
new... Yeah. It's actually pretty... I've already done the quest. It's pretty funny.
It's got to be a power armor helmet, right?
Nope. Regular helmet.
What?
Plus 1 strength, plus 1 endurance.
That's crazy.
And then the sword is a Furious sword. It's got, I think, the same stats as Grognak's axe. And the quest is pretty cute. And then they also dropped a building mod or a creation kit where it allows you to put up a fake SOS signal to have raiders go to where you want them, and then it's got where you can put walls up to funnel the raiders to your turrets, and it's even got a thing where you can put a security camera up and then a display in a different part so you can actually see the raiders getting killed by your turrets.
What? That seems sort of demented almost. That's really weird.
Wow.
I haven't played with that one yet. I did do the quest for the Skyrim helmet and sword.
That sounds crazy. I'd like to try that one out. One thing I've never actually done that I've always wanted to do is build that arena with the build mode and have like viewers at the fight and have the arena and have a monster fight a person and have people cheer. I haven't messed with that at all ever. I think you have to do that to get all the achievements.
I'm thinking
I never did it either.
I'm thinking about turning the drive-in into a raider graveyard with this new one. I'm thinking about. I haven't actually unlocked the drive-in yet because I just hadn't bothered. And I'm thinking about now that I've seen this that I'm going to clear it out and then just make this funnel, this maze, and like every turn the raiders are going to be hitting turrets and mines and just kill raiders.
You should make the ghouls the instead of turrets be the bad guys, make the ghouls be set up a maze for the raiders to get sucked into somehow that they have to fight the ghouls themselves. That'd be sweet.
I don't know if I have the perks because I think to get the beta wave modulator or whatever, the one that makes the NPCs not attack you. I don't think I've got the charisma. I can't remember what it's called.
Beta wave emitter, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right. But I don't think I've got enough perks to do it on this character because my charisma's not high enough.
Yeah, I've only ever had that once, and it was pretty sweet to just have glowing death claws just walk around your settlement and not be angry. They're chilling.
Yeah, I've only ever done it once too. That was my first character because I played her as the DLCs came out, and she had sided with the Institute, and so I turned Spectacle Island into her like kind of home away from home fortress.
Yeah,
and I had Mirelurks and Yagwais wandering around and stuff.
It's really cool to have that, and plus you can have, you know, like raiders and synths and all those different kinds of bad guys walking around too with all the different monsters. It's pretty fucking sweet.
If I remember correctly, I think there's a couple. I want to say I think it might be Mirelurks and Yagwais, and then Yagwais and Deathclaws. That even if you've got the emitter, they will still attack each other. They won't attack you, but they'll still attack each other.
And there's something that always will attack Radstags. I remember you couldn't have it was Yagwais and Radstags. You could never have them together in a settlement because the Yagwais would always kill the Radstags. And then when the Yagwai attacked the Radstag, it made your settlers go aggro against the Yagwai. So then it just always caused fucking chaos to break out.
That's what it was. I knew that I remembered something that was always causing me a problem.
I'm sure that there's others too, like that could cause that same sort of problem. I'm sure that there's other animals that have problems with each other, but it was just the one that I personally had was a Yagwai and Radstags for some reason. It was hilarious.
I think there's one involving Deathclaws, but I can't remember which.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one with the Mirelurks too. You know, like you were saying. Yeah.
Mainly when I use the traps now, it's just for Radstag meat. So it's just like 6 or 7 Radstag traps, and just every so often go back and farm them.
Yeah. Oh, and Pat mentioned last week there's that magazine that gives you double meat. Where was that? Was that over at where you get Professor Goodfeels?
Yeah, I think that's Sunshine Trading Co-op is where you get that one.
The Radstag, if you get the double meat magazine, always get the Radstag. That's always the Radstag steak's always a good meal to have in the survival mode. There, we're talking about survival mode earlier.
I ain't got no time for no survival mode. Sorry,
I can't invest that time. I don't know. Pat always plays survival mode. I don't see how he does it. He's just really good at the game. I'm not that good.
With Sid, I was putting up Brahmin traps to capture them and just have them there on my settlement so that I could collect the fertilizer and make jet.
Oh, making jet. I thought you were going to have steaks. That's funny. You're making jet. That's hilarious.
Yep. Fertilizer and plastic.
So you have you have the cage and what, a trough or something, and then the trough is what collects the fertilizer into your workbench. Is that how it works?
I think just having the Brahmin there collects it into your workbench over a period of time, but the trough helps keep them in one location away from, I don't know, wandering around. Yeah.
Oh, that's so they're not on the roof and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You can like make a pen, put a trough in it, and then they'll always be sitting in the pen instead of just randomly in your house or something.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, just cat bowls for the cats too. If you put out a cat trap, which increases the happiness in the settlement.
Happiness for the kitties.
Yeah, then you put down a cat bowl and they'll hang out by the bowl.
Oh, will they not wander around? Dog bowls do the same?
I think dog houses do the same.
Is there a dog bowl? Is there a junk item that's a dog bowl, or is that just a cat?
No, you're right. There's a junk item that's a dog bowl, but I don't think it's tied in to the dogs. I think just the dog houses is tied into the dogs.
What? That's weird. Oh, well, I guess there's no cat house, so never mind. They needed an item for the cat too. Crazy.
The cat house is in Good Neighbor. That was a joke.
Yeah. Rim shot. It's a good one, Steve.
Well, we're going to be spending a lot of time at Good Neighbor with these next quests.
We will. Let's go visit that cat house over in Good Neighbor next time on the Fallout feed. You guys excited for our quest? We got, like I mentioned, Kid in the Fridge, Silver Shroud, Big Dig, and the Milton Parking Garage. You guys have any closing thoughts for our show this evening?
Mince and cheese pies.
Really good, man. Regional sandwiches. Check in with us on the email, everyone. Regional sandwiches. Also, we were casting the movie Fallout 4. What does your movie cast look like? Send us an email into the Fallout feed at gmail.com.
in on that Facebook conversation. It's
Yeah.
heated. Don't mention Will Smith over there, man. People get mad.
Who, Sarah? You were having Will Smith play who?
Preston.
Preston is 60 years old now.
Okay, first of all, I looked it up, and Will Smith is like 49.
Yeah, old
Yeah.
ass shit. Sorry for you old guys out there.
Yeah, you just you just offended like half of our Facebook group.
Yeah, we're all old people. They know I'm joking.
I'm casting Will Smith as X688.
Oh,
Yeah. How about young Will Smith as X688?
totally. Wait, who's the guy in Blade?
Men in Black era, Will Smith.
Who's the guy in Blade? Is it Blade? Blade Runner?
Wesley Snipes
He'd be the perfect one for that.
Oh, that is pretty good.
for X688, huh?
Young Wesley Snipes, because he's like 60 now too, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he acts anymore. I don't know. There was a bunch of really hilarious conversations going on. I want John Cleese to voice Codsworth.
He already does. I swear he already does.
That's not him. That's someone doing a spot on impression, of course, but I don't think it's him, is it?
For sure.
Is
That's
it
exactly
him?
what he's channeling. I don't know. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
And Rob Schneider as the Lone Wanderer.
You want him to be the protagonist? Okay. Would the movie be a first-person view like the video game? Could you do that? Would that be a terrible ass movie?
Please, they tried that in that Doom movie. No, thank you.
Oh, okay. I assumed that someone's tried that before. That's Doom. I never saw that.
Well, it's like 15, 20, 30-second part of the movie towards the end, and it's not that good.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to have your minds blown?
Okay, who doesn't?
All right. His name is Steven Russell. He also voices synth detective Nick Valentine and Dima.
Dima and Nick. Okay, I knew Nick and Dima had to be voiced by the same person. So he does all three of those robots. That's hilarious.
Yeah, crazy.
Who would you have play Nick? Who's playing Nick Valentine? It just had to be a voice actor, I would assume, at this point. It would probably be a CGI Nick, right?
Willem Dafoe.
Or a person in a motion capture suit. Willem Dafoe, you say, right?
It just seems like a crazy casting.
Hobgoblin and The Last Temptation of Christ, Willem Dafoe? Or Green Goblin?
The only thing I know him from is from that horrible Spider-Man movie.
I know him from The Last Temptation of Christ, I think. He was in that. I don't know what else.
It's Willem Dafoe from Boondock Saints.
Oh, snap.
That's a fairly popular movie I've never seen. Everyone always has those movies that they've never seen that everyone talks about.
You should watch it. It's pretty good.
What's the number one on the AFI, the Rosebud sled movie?
What?
Citizen Kane?
Citizen Kane. I've still never seen Citizen Kane, and my friends are all my friends are like movie buffs, and they all scoff at me that I've never seen Citizen Kane.
I've never seen it either.
Yeah. Sweet. Good. I'm glad no one's seen that stupid movie. It does not deserve to be number one, right? Come on. I've never seen it, so of course I can't say that, but wonderful. I'm excited about the quests. I better go start them because it's going to take all week to play them. Any other things for the show, guys? Thanks, Leon, for joining us.
You're welcome. Ad Victorium.
Ad Victorium. That's terrible. Why are you saying that? Terrible. Steve, thank you, sir, for hopping on.
Ad Victorium.
Oh, God, what are you doing? I'm glad you found some time to hop on, brother. Good to speak with you.
That's Red.
Yeah, man. Sarah, always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah. was good times. I had fun tonight.
Always a pleasure. I will see you guys in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.